himself a crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, the crossover is brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Hi, Connor.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, how we doing, guys? Doing good?
I'm just looking at three men who didn't wish me a happy birthday over the weekend.
Seems like you made a point to not say anything. And then we talked about it on Friday during the crossover, and you were like, yeah, it's my birthday coming up. And I said, oh, happy birthday, Matt.
I'm kidding.
And,
Interesting.
you know,
You
can't
all
have
wish-
it both ways,
you
Matt.
all- you
can't
all
be
wish
like,
me-
nobody wish me a happy birthday and also not want to talk about your birthday.
All of you wish me a happy birthday in person.
That's right.
Like, I got my happy birthday wishes.
That's
on Friday.
exactly right.
I'm just
What'd you do?
joking. I went to Lincoln, just chilled out.
Woof.
And we watched the first game, the Auburn Florida game.
Mhm.
Just kind of out on a couch by ourselves, whatever. And then we watched the second game over at a bar and did that, hung out there, watched that game, and then we kind of just hit the town after.
Excellent.
And then on Sunday, I golfed 18 holes for the first time this year.
Golf.
Yes.
Where'd you play?
Mahoney.
Mahoney.
Yeah.
Classic old Lincoln Mahoney.
It was a good time. I got a rangefinder. My buddy gave me a rangefinder for my birthday.
Wow, that's a great gift.
I know. It's one hell of a birthday present. So
Excellent.
The gift
did
that keeps on giving.
I only lost 2 golf balls, so that's an accomplishment.
Huge.
And then we did a 2-man scramble.
Not a lot of
so
trees or woods out there.
No, it's hard to lose your ball at
Yeah.
Mahoney.
Unless you hit it in the lake on that one hole or
I had
onto.
a great drive on that one. That's you're talking about. I think it's the
It's like 14
14,
or something like that.
13
Yeah.
or 14. I hit it over the water, so my drive ended up like on the edge, like toward the rough, facing the hole.
Yeah.
And then I had to hit it over the water, and I stuck it.
Or if you rip it left on one and you hit it onto Holdridge Street, that'd be a bad shot.
Well, if you rip it right on one, you end up in the driving range.
That's right.
So
That's right.
you got to kind of keep it pretty straight, or you can cut the corner.
That's right.
Mahoney's a great golf course.
Golf talk. It's Masters
talk.
Week. When do you get your little food?
Wednesday comes
Oh,
in
yeah.
Wednesday,
Perfect day.
and then I will bring in some little goodies on Thursday for us to look at.
You're going to be giving away cups.
And then I will have a big board.
Seriously, they give you way too many cups.
I got
20, was it 25?
It's like 25 cups.
Well, so it's split between my roommate and I. So I own 12 and a half.
You're still not going to need that many cups. Yeah.
I've already
What is,
picked out people that I'm giving out the cups to.
what is the amount of cups that a bachelor should own?
Wow.
Well,
great question.
Assuming that you already have like 6 to 10 stadium cups.
Uh-huh.
That's
right?
all you need.
You don't need like 8 more. You'll find that it's just stupid to have that many cups.
So I have those are my go-to cups in my house are stadium cups.
Of course they
Like
are.
I was this morning, I went into my cupboard looking for my Fred Hoiberg cup.
Yeah, the holographic one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got one that's better than the others?
I do. Well, so I got a Chiefs one of when I went, and it was Derek Thomas Day. So I've got the Derek Thomas one.
That's
Also,
nice.
2 years ago,
Classic.
because at the K, if you buy a soda, they have a sticker on it that you can go back and then they peel off the sticker to get a free refill.
Beautiful.
It was a great looking Bobby Witt 30 for 30 cup.
Oh,
But I was all like whenever I go to like a barbecue place and they have the plastic cups, like Jason's Deli gives you, I always keep them. But those are my go-to cups.
Jason's Deli is one of the few places that does that.
I know. We're getting fewer and fewer.
Yeah.
But also we're getting fewer and fewer people like little kids, like we all did, that went through the stands to pick up cups
Yeah.
at the end of games.
Yeah,
So
that's just weird.
I would
my
admonish my
roommate,
child if he did that.
my
Why?
roommate in college.
That's a great.
I would too.
That's like that is part of sports fandom.
you're
as a
picking up
kid.
trash.
But what you're doing is then just handing it over to your parents and saying, "Here you go."
And then they
Yeah,
wash
hold
it,
this.
and then you have cups.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
We
no,
got cups. at
you
home.
got too many cups.
My roommate in college
got enough cups.
was an ROTC, and so he was a part of the group of people that had to clean up Memorial Stadium after games. And so every season, the first game of the season, he would come back with about 5 to 6 brand new souvenir cups.
Too many cups.
So we, at the end of like our 3 years of living together, we had about like 20 cups. They were all like Husker football cups from like 3 different seasons.
Mhm.
It was pretty nice.
I don't need them.
My favorite cups is my Super Bowl cup that I was given, and I have a 2016 Cubs World Series cup. Those are the 2 that I drink out of. Those 2 specifically.
I used to walk the aisles, like you'd pick up cups, programs. Also, more popcorn is done in a collector bin.
Yeah. That's the new trend.
So you're lamenting the fact that it's not worth it to go through the aisles and pick up trash anymore?
I almost did that at a game I went to over the holiday break because I was like, man, those are cool cups. Because I would see people coming up the stairs with them, and I didn't get a soda. I was drinking a beer. And I was like, do you think it'd be frowned upon if me just kind of started to move through the aisles and try to find cups?
I don't think
because you got
time-
to pick them up, and then if they're full, you dump them out, and you keep it moving, and you keep adding to them.
Every time I think about
Make a souvenir cup snake.
picking up anything for free, like in that situation, whether it's an extra, maybe it's mini bat day and there's just a mini bat sitting there. It's like,
You got to pick it up.
Do you want a second mini bat? Do you want a 7th mini bat? I always think about it as like, well, I could, sure. I mean, why not? Right. And then I think, no, that's stupid. I hate carrying stuff in my hands. And I have to bring it to my house and put it somewhere.
You displayed in the man cave.
No, you don't.
You've got a man cave office.
A mini bat. There was 17,000 of them given away for free. No, of course you don't.
Regift it for Christmas.
It has no value whatsoever. None.
Yours total value. You can give
No,
it to
it
your
doesn't.
You can give it to your kid.
Full question.
and
Does
they
a
can-
mini bat have any value whatsoever?
Yes, because you have a kid and they will grow up and they will grab that
And they'll
mini bat.
bonk me on the head with it.
Exactly. And they'll run around, they'll kick you, they'll hit you in the ankles and the
That's-
legs or
Apparently, you
whatever.
have never been to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
I have.
In Louisville.
I have.
You got a mini bat.
I did. And
Okay.
I don't. Where is it? I don't know.
You don't have it displayed?
No, God,
It says
no.
it says
It's
Louisville
somewhere-
Slugger,
Sluggers.
Louisville, Kentucky, right on it. It's
been
great, right
somewhere
on the trademark.
collecting dust for 17 years.
Yeah, just put it on a shelf and display it. Like, look, I got a little
There's
mini bat.
not enough room on my walls. How could you display all of the things that you get? There's not enough room.
It's
With
called
Connor
more
on the side.
shelves.
Move
Connor
to
Happer.
another house.
Yeah, get a bigger house.
I should get a bigger house. That's true.
Maybe
that-
get more shelves.
But
from
I wouldn't
IKEA.
get a bigger house only to be able to display free items that I got from sporting
I
events.
think that is actually a beautiful way
Where-
to expand your house.
Where are
The
your
only-
bobbleheads?
I have a small shelf for it, kind of in the background of where I do podcasts.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple there. The rest of them, God knows, I have no idea.
Really?
There's 100 of them on my desk.
Yeah.
This is where I bring trash.
It's
What-
called collector's items, Connor.
Why do I have I don't know. I had my buddy who lives in Seattle. He sent me an Edgar Martinez bobblehead. It was like
Yeah.
Oh,
gold-
that's
it was-
awesome.
It was like a gold statue. And Stib was like, "Hey, can I have that?" And I was like, "Sure." He came in one day and filled in. He's like, "I like that Edgar Martinez thing on your desk," and I'm like, "Take it."
Wow. You just don't care.
I think we worked out a trade,
Mhm.
but
Why do you have a disdain for collecting items?
what does it do?
It's you look at them, you brag about them, you go look at this Pierre
You'll get
Pilot
it. You'll get it one day.
bobblehead
You'll get
that
it
I
one
have
day.
right here. Look at this Wrigley Field
I
100-year
am-
anniversary Babe Ruth bobblehead. It's still in the box.
I am a minimalist. I like nothing. I like no things. Everything is disposable and
So,
replaceable.
You don't have a signed baseball collection?
There are some baseballs somewhere,
Okay.
not displayed.
Okay.
Not displayed in
Yeah.
any way,
you
shape,
just-
or form.
You just don't. You're just boring.
Hey, speaking of
No, I'm correct.
memorabilia,
It's called collecting.
Yeah, which is dumb.
It is
Collecting-
not.
collecting
what do you
is
mean?
stupid.
What? What do you
Collecting-
mean collecting is stupid?
Collecting is stupid. Period.
That is a
Collecting
crazy
stuff
statement.
is dumb.
What do you mean? Okay, so if I have
Baseball
a pride
cards.
or passion about something, and I go ahead, the thrill of finding something that I can add to my collection, or the thrill of buying something I can add to my collection, is worth it. And then you buy that thing and you properly display it, and then as a sense of pride, you get to show people the cool things.
And what do those
that
people
you-
say?
And they go, "That's really, really cool.
No, they
I
don't.
really, really like those things." And then when you walk down into your your office or whatever, you see the things that you collected, and immediately you have a sense of warmth You have a sense of happiness because look, Chris
That's just
Bryant
you, buddy.
signed that ball.
That's just you. I have no sense of that.
I literally just described what a lot of people enjoy doing.
Go ahead. That's fine.
There are literally
I don't care.
professional collectors. There are
Yeah, I
people
know.
who spend
Those people live in their basement.
good for them. It's nice.
Live in their
mom.
mom's
That's not
basement.
fair.
That's not fair.
It is fair.
That's a rude characterization. That
Well,
it's that it's you.
That's what the
literally-
people call
you
the
are
the
literally-
media now.
you are
they go up and they say
crapping-
about the media, oh, the
you-
neckbeards who lives in their mom's basement. No, you're thinking about the collectors.
Those
are the collectors.
You are crapping on people with a hobby.
Get a better hobby.
Literally, people who have just hobbies.
Yeah.
That's what you're crapping on. Maybe you should stop being so insecure about how boring you are and not crap on people with hobbies.
I don't think that I am at all insecure about this.
He
Sounds
works
like
too much to have
Sounds like
hobbies.
That's right.
You
Work
never
is my
collected baseball
hobby.
cards?
I did. I had a collection of baseball cards. They were
You live in your mom's basement?
when I was a child. I had a collection of baseball cards. Haven't seen them in decades. I would love to get rid of them. Do you want them?
Yes.
I'll take them.
I'll
Yeah,
take 'em.
I
Yeah.
will. Me too.
What do you think I can make some money off of them?
What do you have?
I don't know.
You
no
know what?
idea.
Hey, bring them some next time you're at your parents' house.
Great crossover
Hey,
bit.
Yeah.
grab them, and we will open a box to see what baseball cards.
So
you
I
have.
had
I will bring.
I
bring
got
mine
the
too.
books, like the laminated
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I probably had 5 or 6 of those.
Okay, I bet.
There's something of
I
value in there.
guarantee you
So,
there's.
I'm doing the math
yeah.
on your age. You could have a couple there that
Steroid guys.
Soph might might benefit from them.
Okay. All right. Well,
But
yeah.
bring them in.
You could have a couple like big ones. Like I recently went through my collection when I collected when I was younger. And so these cards are like 10, 12 years old. I found a couple of cards worth a couple $100.
All right. Cool. Maybe I could sell it for maybe I don't know. Maybe I
When was
could
the last
sell
time you
it
bought a pack of baseball cards?
whenever I
Stopped collecting.
whenever I stopped caring about that. I don't know. Probably age
You don't.
12.
You don't. When you're with the wifey at Target, you don't say, "Hey, can we stop and look at the cards?"
No.
Because Target's card
yeah.
collection is pretty good. Now
It's-
they used to limit it because it was crazy, like during the collecting craze post COVID, and then they had Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
But I notice now they don't have any restrictions, so you can buy as many cards. But they are quietly on the wall, like right before you get to the checkout.
Mhm.
They have football, basketball, baseball, hockey,
So
college sports cards as well.
No. I
growing up,
never got that.
Caitlin
feeling.
Clark, man, she's got a whole box. I noticed yesterday.
growing up, that's where I bought all of my cards. Was Target. We would get the bot like you would buy a box of cards.
I
right
use
at
some
Target.
cards to put in the spokes of my bicycle
Hello.
from time to time.
Yeah. Those and those were probably the cards that were the most valuable.
Sure, I didn't
Like,
care.
screw that.
It was a card.
Everybody was doing it.
Yeah. Well, this guy, what's his name? Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, we'll just insert that in there.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I knew who the players were and everything like that. Like I knew what I was looking at. But yeah, it was a card. I just threw it in there.
Are you
Shoot it
guys
up.
preparing for, because it happens during your show on Thursday and Friday, for the Chris Vernon experience with the Masters?
Oh yeah, the
Tony Finau, where he
yeah,
be now?
where he be now? Yeah. Well, Tiger's dead, so
I know.
Jeez.
he can't do anything about Tiger. Is that big getting old yet?
No.
Okay, it's been 2 years, maybe.
I think he's done it longer, but it just got people just got onto it a couple years
It got
ago.
popular just a few years ago. It's you might have to switch it up. Might have to start doing some different
Why?
things.
Because every time I see Tony Finau golfing, I'm like, where he be now?
Yeah. What was the oh gosh. He had a pretty good there was a couple good lines in there last year. I can't remember what they were now.
Tony, love the salmon colored shirt. Could be the difference.
Who said that?
That was Bob Does Sports. That's like, you know who Bob Does Sports is?
Bob does
He's a TikTok guy,
He's
but he's a big golfer,
yeah.
and so
he
he'll
talks like that?
So he'll go like how
he'll
he
stand by
became.
the ropes,
Yeah.
and as golfers come by, like he's recognizable. He
He's
will
famous.
say stuff to the golfers, and sometimes they'll acknowledge him.
Uh-huh.
Like Tony Finau is his guy.
So they like
Yeah.
Bob.
They love Bob. So now they actually give Bob like a press pass and he'll ask him funny questions. Like he asked Jordan Spieth very recently, like, what do you think about the tour letting you have a breakfast ball?
Okay.
You know? And Spieth goes, I would absolutely love that. Like that could be the difference. Like he said his line back to Bob because he knows, like they know each other.
Oh,
So he's
gotcha.
like
They're cool.
he's pretty big in the golf world right now, but he became famous by saying what Gary was saying
Okay.
You know, being on the ropes and chirping them.
Okay. All right. Cool. Bob.
Yeah. Bob does sports. You would like him. He's funny. He's a funny guy. He's got Fat Perez with him. He's like this fat guy who's a really good golfer.
Mm.
And they go and golf together. And then they got another guy.
No, I know about Fat Perez.
And Joey Coldcuts. You know Joey Coldcuts?
I don't know
Ooh,
Joey
Coldcuts.
Coldcuts.
Yeah, he's another fat guy that they golf with.
Why
but-
does he only hang out with fat people?
Because I think Bob likes fat people.
It makes you feel better if you're a skinny guy.
Yeah, which Bob is.
Well, that's just good for him then.
exactly. But like,
He's trying to cheerlead or affect himself.
yeah, basically, FP is a good golfer. Joey Coldcuts isn't a good golfer.
Oh,
It's-
what about
so-
Bob Sports Bob?
His name's Bobby Fairways when he's out on the golf course.
This is the dumbest thing.
No, it's not. This is entertainment.
How do you know this much about these people?
Because this is like how I kind of decompress.
Is this like your reality TV show?
a little bit. This is like my Vanderpump Rules.
That's kind of what Barstool has gone for, and it really has worked. I always see people commenting on the Barstool videos talking about things that I have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah,
It's its own
Talking-
little
but
world.
these guys have done
talking
it-
about people who are like behind the scenes or
Oh yeah. Well, Barstool is its own universe. Like that's its own.
yeah,
like,
it's so crazy.
like you have to be. It's like Barstool is like an ongoing running reality TV.
Maybe
show.
we're a reality show to some people.
Many people say, why don't you just be Barstool?
People do say that.
Yeah.
They do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Um,
no.
I don't know. Remember, was it 2 College World Series ago that Frank the Tank, Brandon Walker, there were a couple other guys that were in town the entire time. Oh, and Ole Miss guy, Mincy.
Mincy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
funny.
the idiot.
And they would gamble nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
saw
they were
Brand-
everywhere.
I saw Brandon Walker at a Blackhawks game. He is a tall human. He is one of the biggest humans I've seen ever. Period.
Nice.
Tall fella.
Nice.
But there you go. There's your Bob Does Sports update.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think Shaq, I think, is the tallest person I've ever seen in person.
You saw Shaq?
He was at the Rose Bowl in 01.
Kofi
And
Cobra.
then I've seen him a couple of times
That's a
since.
funny place to see Shaq.
Well, because Miami was playing.
yeah, right.
Nebraska just happened to be on the same field.
I get it.
And so Shaq came with his posse, large man. And then I saw him later in the NBA, and I think he's probably the tallest person I've ever seen. I never saw Manute Bol. Is Shaq taller than Dikembe Mutombo?
I think he is. I think
Gotta
Shaq
be
is
right.
7'1".
I don't know.
Kalkbrenner, the tallest person you've ever seen?
He must be.
Matumbo was 7'2".
Oh,
Okay, so Mutombo. Because
Was
Shaq is
Kalkbrenner taller than
Seven-
Shaq?
7'1". Shaq is listed as 7'1".
Whoa.
Okay.
Kalkbrenner
Kalkbrenner's
handshake
7'1".
meme Shaq. Same guy.
I mean, once you become a 7-footer, does it matter if you're 7'1" or 7'2"?
No, not really. Unless you're like
Well, I
Manute
mean, if
Bol or
it-
like
no. I'm going to be honest.
Jorge Mirasan.
Once you're over 6'7", it doesn't matter anymore. You know?
Man, I always liked Kenny George. Remember Kenny George? Kenny George was like 7'7" and he couldn't move, but he played college basketball. And then later on, he had to have his foot amputated because he was too tall.
Sure.
But he was killing it at UNC Asheville during those times. He was blocking everything. They would give him the ball because he'd play for like 2 minutes at a time. They'd give him the ball and he would just like set it in the basket. Kenny George.
How tall is that kid at Florida?
7'9".
Yeah.
Olivier Roux.
Which Fanta did an interview with him in the locker room
That
the
was
other day.
funny.
It was hilarious.
I mean,
He had
at
a
7
pan-
foot,
I
would think,
9.
like, you always heard Yao Ming say when he went back home how he was very uncomfortable because he stood out, in a land where not everybody is 7 foot whatever. I would think at 7'9", that's just obnoxious. Because you can't hide.
I would think at 6'8",
You
I'd be
can't, but like, you
obnoxious.
can't. What bed do you sleep in? Like you fly in an airline. What do you do?
I wouldn't want to be any taller than 6'6".
I agree.
Right.
That would be
I
that would be
agree.
a horrible
Will
experience.
you start
7'9"? Are you kidding me?
You start getting to the point where everything is an inconvenience, where
Correct.
nothing is made for you. Okay, Olivier Roux, I don't think could fit through that door.
We
without
could
having
fit in this entire building.
Yeah, exactly. Like it starts getting to the point
have very
where
low
it's just
ceilings.
like it is kind of it's hard to operate as a human after you're over 6'8". Once you get past 6'8", no one has you in mind anymore.
6'6", I'm done.
It's like
No
being a
more.
lefty on the golf course.
Do you know one of the requirements in the NBA and the players' union contract is that all hotels are fitted for NBA players?
That is good.
I knew they all had to be 5-star.
Yeah,
Because the beds have to be
Yeah,
so long.
Sure,
Yes.
that makes sense.
that and comfortable? Like you need to get your sleep, man. You need to be on a good mattress.
It's a great point. People forget about the comfort.
You
why
know, you have to. I mean, these guys are professional athletes. You can't just be sleeping on a mattress you just purchased, just for the cheapest one. You got to be on a quality comforter, right?
Hey, wouldn't
I
it
mean,
be-
Same thing for me though, but at least they don't have to
but
extend the bed 4 feet.
Are you jumping and running at the highest levels of human ability?
Yes.
When and where?
It takes a lot to be me.
Puddles.
Hey.
Out of context, 16.
So Nebraska had a stretch where they went from Rich King, who was 7'2", from Burke, Josh's alma mater,
That's right.
to Kelly Lively, who was a Wyoming guy. I think Kelly was 7'1". Somebody's got to ask Painter. I think this is now will be 10 straight years they've had at least a 7-footer on the roster.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They got Oscar,
Go find
Oscar
me
Clough.
a 7-footer.
Mr. Clough, the OZ.
But what was the guy that was Drago before Zach Edey?
Oh yeah,
Haas?
Isaac
Haas?
Haas, and then there was another guy before that too.
But in the game notes for Purdue, it has this is the 10th or 11th straight year that Matt Painter has had a 7-footer on his roster.
Let's
That's
check
awesome.
out Ken Palm.
Was that in Providence? Was that on the High Point?
I
Purdue?
did a Purdue game and it was on there
Oh, okay.
because they were, they figured once Zach Edey is gone, they have no more 7-footer.
So Haas was there. At least 16, 17, 18.
See,
19. Who'd we have in there?
I didn't work the Purdue game, so
Harms.
Oh.
Haas and Harms.
That's right.
They had both
and they
them
would play them
boys.
together.
Yeah, those guys are out of control. 7'3". Dear Lord. And didn't he end up playing at didn't he transfer to BYU or something?
BYU
weird?
or Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
One of those obscure out west schools.
Yeah. And then they were like, that's okay. We have Zach Edey. He's pretty good.
He's our better 7-footer. You guys can move on.
They had they had AJ Hammonds before that too.
Matt Painter's attracted to 7-footers.
He's got a type.
Yeah.
Matt Painter's wife. Do you think she's tall?
Hey, Matt Painter's pretty tall.
Oh, that's a great question.
Matt Painter surprisingly is tall.
Yeah.
How tall is Matt Painter?
I bet he's 6'4", 6'5".
Really?
I was
that
going to
tall?
say he might be as tall as Mac. How tall is Mac?
6'7"?
He's a big dude.
Coach McDermott is a
Yeah.
big guy.
How tall is Matt Painter, Josh?
It was funny
Oh.
him.
Oh, I thought that's what you were typing.
No, I was looking up his wife.
Well, how?
6'6", Matt Painter.
There you
Oh,
go.
I thought his wife was 6'6". What's his wife?
I'm trying to.
I
Find
don't
that
think there'd be her
information.
wife's height,
Yeah.
but there might be a picture
There
somewhere.
might be a picture.
Got an alert here. I don't know if this is a Penn thing or not. Fran McCaffrey is being sworn in as
That's
the new
right.
basketball coach at Penn.
Nice.
Right in on the Bible.
I was about to say, does he have to say the
Sworn in?
the office, the oath
I do solemnly swear.
to protect Penn basketball?
She is half a head shorter than Matt.
But
Painter.
think
she's
she cut-
over. But she's over 6 foot. Then
Now
think
she
she's
might
going
be
over
wearing
6 foot?
heels in this photo. I don't know.
good breakdown. But she's. I mean,
Mhm. She is not short.
anything over 5'10" is pretty tall
Matt Painter had a brief
For
role in
chicks.
Blue Chips.
for women.
Okay.
Yes.
He did.
That's right. Yeah.
He's a very interesting guy that probably initially people don't put him in a top 20 list, but they should.
Nice. He's a nice fella.
Matt Painter for coaches.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he should be in the top 20 list.
Legit.
He's incredible.
He's legit.
I mean, great comeback. You get beat by FDU, and the next year you're in the national championship game.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
Exactly
if
right.
people wouldn't put him in I couldn't imagine that. People not putting him in a top 20. But there are a lot of really good college basketball coaches right now. This is pretty long.
when did Coach Carter come out? We're watching on the
I'm gonna guess-
2003, 2004, I believe.
That's a good guess. I was going to say 05, but I like the guess.
You're
Let's-
right, Connor.
So it's a 20-year anniversary.
Get in that
of
locker,
Coach
Matt.
Carter with
Isn't
Channing
it-
Tatum.
Isn't it crazy that the entire town freaked out because the basketball team couldn't maintain a 2.0 GPA?
Well, things are a certain way. There you go, 2005.
It's but it's like a 2.0. Like he wasn't asking them to have, a 3.5. Like a 2.0 is like,
Pretty low bar.
yeah. I mean, I went to high school not too long ago, guys. If you just show up to class and do the homework, you don't have to do the test. You'll walk away with a C,
Maybe that's not how it used to be. Maybe you actually used to have to go to school back
Well, also
in the day.
also like high school basketball, like it's you have an hour and a half, 2 hour practices, and then you go
Hey,
home and you do your homework.
We all took classes with athletes. Come on.
I just took classes, and you really don't have to do much to get out of high school. That much is absolutely true.
2.0. It's a 2.0. And then the whole town was like, how dare you? How dare you make our sons go to class and actually try and get a high school diploma, you crazy person? It's a ridiculous premise when you think about it.
Well, Samuel Jackson's got his way.
Yeah.
And then he showed up in the Super Bowl halftime show.
I loved
20
all
years later.
I loved all the city hall. I love the city hall scene where all the parents are like, they're not going to be doctors or lawyers. Like, well, maybe they should be.
Maybe they should be.
Maybe they should try.
The town didn't have really high expectations.
No. That's what I'm telling you.
But that's why you need a guy like Samuel L. Jackson
To show up.
He's a culture changer.
Is he? He's a culture builder.
Or can he coach basketball?
Is he?
But can he coach basketball?
Do you think Coach Carter's going to take more of a CEO role in the ever-changing
Well, I think once he gets his
landscapes
program,
situated?
yeah.
What do you think the rev share is like at Richmond? Are they
Rich what?
Richmond?
Rich what?
It's Richmond.
Rich what?
I'm just saying, like, what? What's the rev share split? No, I know what the joke is. I hear it.
I don't know. It's high
Well,
school.
now they have a history of winning. There's
Yeah.
expectations that come along with that. Rev share is probably pretty good.
Do you think Richmond would hang a crown flag?
Rich what?
Richmond.
Everyone from here on out will have a crown flag because I think the tournament provides it.
I will buy one. Oh, I will buy one.
A crown flag.
If they have
A banner.
Like Crown Royal.
I'm brown.
Oh,
A banner.
People love putting Crown Royal flag. Kids your age, Matt. Tell the people about the flags on the walls.
yeah, no. They like the Busch Light, Bud Light, like any sort of beer or alcohol flag is encouraged to be
Or
put in
they
the room.
like the case,
or
the little velvet case.
Yeah, a
that
little
they
velvet
carry.
bag.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or that or athlete mug shots is a really popular flag
What?
to be put up. Like yeah. Athlete mug shots.
You can get anything put on a flag, Josh.
Oh, no, there's
It's
there's this place called Hype Flags, and you can take a picture and you can make it into a flag. It's an incredible website, which I have used multiple times to get flags. But I walked into an apartment with a Scotty Scheffler mug shot. I've walked into an apartment with a Tiger Woods mug shot. One guy had an Aaron Hernandez flag.
Gee,
You need to not associate with that person.
Yeah.
So basically, whoever this is, they love felons.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice chuckle, you know.
Yeah, that's what Scotty thought back at the PGA back in May.
that would be funny if you had a Scotty Scheffler mugshot flag.
What major was he playing at that a guy was wearing his mugshot on a T-shirt?
Well, they had that for Tiger.
Yeah, and then Scotty like stopped and he made
Did he
fun
sign
of
it?
I don't know if he signed it, but he referenced it.
The best one was Tiger when the
Yes.
guy was wearing the mugshot shirt, and he does acknowledge it, but out of the corner of his eye, he walks by and he kind of looks at it and he starts smiling. Oh, that was the best. Tiger is on one.
Would it be awkward if you wore a T-shirt of your own mugshot?
Yes.
No, I think that would.
You gotta go to somebody else's mugshot.
Wasn't there a bachelor party where I think I saw like online there was a bachelor party and all the guys were wearing the groom's mugshot as a T-shirt.
The groom's mugshot?
The groom like got arrested and
That's a good move.
They were wearing his mugshot T-shirt.
Look at this. Matt, have you ever seen this video? Watch this.
I haven't seen it.
This guy in the white right here is wearing a Tiger mugshot shirt. Look, watch Tiger.
Here's
Here's
this. So here's Hype Flags. This is like the spot where like kids my age go ahead and buy flags, and they're all like pretty funny in terms of like, you know, there's like
you can put a tweet on there.
There's
Good
like
idea.
there's the Kanye West tweet where he goes, I need a room full of mirrors so I can be surrounded by winners. You can get that
Nice.
as a flag.
Thank God it
you
was
know.
that Kanye.
And I
tweet.
can't read that as I'm driving by your house.
No, but like it's inside, prominently displayed in the living room.
I've actually seen this
Yeah.
one before. It's
like that's the other part, Josh. Like people, they don't like to use flags in the common ways. They like to like pin them up to their walls using clothespins.
Oh no, yeah, you put them on your like family room walls. Or, like I have a flag up in my room.
Kim Jong-un, huh?
Yeah, it's a Kim Jong-un flag and it says "Live, Laugh, Love." It's great.
Hey, next time you kids are thinking
Don't
I
do
should
that.
buy a stupid ass flag, Just mail me the money, okay?
Well,
Smart.
Well, this one is actually a really funny one. It's a legalized steroids.
All right.
Legalized steroids a flag, and it's got Robinson Cano, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire,
Allegedly.
and Alex Rodriguez on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
And then right next to it is a McLovin flag.
McMuffin.
McLovin.
It was you, McMuffin. All right.
I mean, maybe flags are coming back. Big Bang Theory hasn't been on for a while.
What is that? Wait, what does
You
that
ever
have
watch
to do
Big
Fun
Bang?
with flags.
Fun with flags.
Fun with
What
flags.
does
Sheldon.
that mean? What does that
That
mean?
was his show, and he ended up doing it with LeVar Burton. Fun with flags.
He
They
made
would
a
do a-
show on the show.
He did a show on the show about flags.
Yeah.
They should have
He
Cooper
did it.
flag
He
on
did it every month. He did
They
one.
should have Cooper flag on there.
He did an
Oh.
Arbor Day flag. He did a Betsy Ross flag.
You guys all watch The Big Bang Theory?
It was a great show.
It had
No,
a
it
Nebraska
wasn't.
connection.
That's why you watched
Oh.
it? Because the lady wore a Nebraska shirt once?
She was more than a lady.
Yeah. It's Penny. All right. Her name is Penny.
On the show, yes, Penny.
All right.
Kaylee Coco,
No, I know.
What'd you
who
say?
has been to
Wait, wait, wait.
Omaha
How'd you say her
when
last
her
name?
ex-husband,
Yeah, the
he
international.
was an equestrian
yeah.
guy. Remember when they used to have the big equestrian event at
Oh,
Chai?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
She was in town.
Him
Like
and
I said,
Larry's wife.
Our
Yes.
whole universe was in a hot
Your
dead
guy-
state. and
your
then
guy Larry.
14 million years ago.
Larry
Space
Culpepper?
started
No,
ringing.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, you know why you probably have never watched it or don't like it? Because Josh hated the show because of the laugh track.
So if you take away the laugh track,
That's
it's an awkward watch. Like there's YouTube videos now of like watching Big Bang Theory without the laugh track, and it is tough. It is rough.
Chance says Gary is definitely a bazinga guy.
Yes,
All right.
that's a Sheldon term.
Bazinga!
Back
Oh,
when it
look,
was
Frank
on,
Caliendo just texted me.
back when it was on,
Can I do my Frank Caliendo or my John Gruden impression? You can send it to Frank Caliendo. Pretty good. I literally have a John Gruden.
I'm going to
because of
respond to
Frank
this
Caliendo.
first. He wants to come on the show. Should we let him?
Absolutely.
You should have him call in right now, and I can talk to him. Hey, Frank Caliendo.
Has he got something to say? He's got to take? He wants to get off his chest?
No, he just wants to. He's got a show coming.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you.
He
what,
says,
man.
"I guess it's getting pretty close to sold out, but I'm trying to get it done in advance." Ha ha ha!
Let's do that.
All right,
where's he at?
Funny Bone. One more time.
I think so. They might have moved it because
I'm gonna-
Because the
the
Funny
Funny
Bone
Bone
is
was
moving.
moving
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to Miracle Hills
Yeah.
at some point this year.
Which I never knew that was its original location.
Mhm.
I always thought they were out at Village Point.
No, they were an OG tenant of Village Point.
That's right. That's right.
Do you think the people went to Boston Market when they got done with their sets?
Definitely.
Charles writes in
April
my s-
17th.
my
That's in
son
10
lived-
days.
My son lived with a bunch of teammates, and they had "It's not a crack house, it's a crack home" flag in their living
Dear
room.
God.
That's a great one.
All right, you guys have a great afternoon.
You too.
I will.
Let us know when Frank's going to be on.
Okay,
Like, does he have an opinion on the Crown?
It'll be at some point this week.
You should bring him on a crossover.
Like, did he contribute to getting Josh Dix here?
Maybe
Oh, he might have. He is-
loves Creighton
yeah.
basketball. He loves Creighton basketball.
I've heard your interviews with him.
All right.
I'm a listener of the show.
See you guys later.
Bazinga.
Thanks for listening. That's the crossover powered by Ever Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
Blackjack.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Okay, welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Back from a weekend. I was just stuck at the ballpark all weekend, so I didn't really see anything else except for the Final Four games. The Final Four games were sweet.
They finally got good.
That's
better late
good.
than never.
That's some good grunting.
Yeah.
Now, will they bring it home with a grunt-worthy game tonight?
I mean, probably not. But
And what will one shining moment look like? What time will one shining moment begin this evening? I tried to go back and find out the exact time when one shining moment came on last year, because I remember setting the over-under at 11, like a little after 11. It was 11:05 or something like that. And then I ended up being, that was late. They got to it before that. So the game starts at 7:50 tonight. Okay. Don't ask me why. 7:50 is the tip-off of the national championship game between Florida and Houston.
Your favorite nationally syndicated sports talk show will complain about the tip time tonight.
So if I set what time does one shining moment begin, the first beat, boom, of the Luther Vandross beautiful, beautiful song, boom, doom, doom. What time does that happen? If I set it at 10:53 p.m., how would you feel about that? 10:53 p.m. That is 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Feels
from
like it's got to be before that.
Hey, you know how this goes.
I know.
They don't go right into it, baby.
No, they don't.
We got a lot of stuff to do.
It's even after the post-game show.
We got confetti on the ground. Yeah. We got to interview everyone in sight, and we gotta have analysis. Chuck's got to say goodbye to college basketball for the year. Not that he ever really said hello. And so, the game itself, it's long commercial breaks and stuff like that. The game itself is probably going to be about 2:15.
Yeah, it's not the tight 2 that a basketball game
2:15, maybe longer. So I'm going to say 3 hours and 3 minutes from the start of game time. 10:53 is the number for me for when it begins.
Their goal is probably to start the newscasts at 11 Central.
Good idea. And then after one shining moment ends, you get no more analysis.
Right.
It's just over.
Yeah.
It's the next episode of Tracker or whatever it might be. Okay. So keep that in mind. We'll take you over under 1620 the casino throughout the day today. We'll talk about those Final Four games. They were very, very good. And Duke said, oh, don't you hate to see it, Josh?
You said this was a likable Duke
even though
team.
We love Duke, this is a very likable Duke team. I really enjoyed when they didn't score in the last 8 minutes of the game. That was sweet.
I love the screenshots of people's televisions, like Duke up 6 or 8 or whatever with 30 seconds left, and they go, "This was a Duke loss."
Moments before disaster. Yeah. It's also Masters Week. Happy Masters Week, everybody.
Yes. Happy Masters Week.
Bum, 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 bum. Can we just play that in the background of all of our shows this week?
I don't know that it's legal, but yeah.
Happy Jim Nance Week, everybody.
Not retiring.
Definitely not retiring. Could be an excellent week for Jim Nance. Jim Nance could have a natty tonight and then just head off to take the PJ over to Augusta, where he's apparently, I've read a lot of stories about him over the weekend, and he's considering retirement from that now too. He's like,
but
I don't like
in 20 years.
He's like, I don't want to do this forever, but it's like Nance, you don't you got football season. Mm-hmm. It's hard, it's arduous, it's grinding. And then in the summer, you don't do jack. After January ends, it's over.
Pretty sweet deal.
You got nothing. And you got a weekend at the Masters where you don't even really have to do anything except for sit in a box for 4 days straight and watch a monitor.
Talk real low.
Yeah.
It's not a strain on your vocal cords.
Come up with a couple sweet lines.
Mm-hmm. You can do that.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah. You got that. I think Nance, if Houston wins tonight, Nance should show up and just be absolutely insufferable all weekend.
Like he should Stephen A.
Yeah.
walking with a cowboy
Yeah,
hat.
like feet up on the table while he's working all
He's
weekend.
got a cigar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped my ring on the table. You probably heard that in the background of that guy's shot.
By the way, have you guys heard of my wine line and the par 3 hole that I have in my backyard? Thank you. I'm Jim Nance. Kirsten Bernthal Booth stepping down
Not
as
being
the
forced out.
Creighton volleyball coach. We'll talk about that. I mean, that's crazy stuff. It's like, whoa.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, I did not. Baseball wise, Nebraska and Creighton both take 2 out of 3 over the weekend in conference. Things are feeling a little bit better. And then back to the Creighton, Josh Dix stuff on Friday. How does it feel to be rich? Creighton?
Rich kids?
Well, not that kind of rich, but comparatively to other major college basketball programs. Remember when Creighton used to play at the Civic Auditorium and there was 9 people there?
I do.
That was a long time ago, Josh.
Those games against
now they are one
Evansville.
of the richest and most prestigious programs in college basketball. They can afford to play their basketball players millions and millions of dollars.
That is quite the glow up.
It's really amazing when you think about it. And Matt Rule speaks over the weekend, and we hardly Gilmore. Think about all of the jokes and all of the things that just don't get to be used now as Hardly Gilmore gets kicked off the team. So sad.
We had them all, and we'll just have to keep them in a drawer.
Well, do you think we just open up the drawer and let them fly?
Oh. Odds of us getting another Hardly are pretty slim.
Well, so people went to the Hardly. I always went to the Gilmore. Excuse me, Mr. Gilmore. And we would have had Happy Gilmore coming out this summer. There would have been lines from that we could have used.
Summer of Gilmore.
Yeah, but instead, nothing. No connections to Hardleys or Gilmores anymore. It's very sad.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all that happened in sports this weekend. Mike Schaefer will join us coming up at 11:30. Sam McKewon will join us at 1. That's the lineup, powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the hotline. You can call or text that number, tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer. On the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, email Connor, Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today, where J-Man writes in, hello, friends, bird emoji. Hi, J-Man. Hi, J-Man.
Hello, J-Man.
Mike says, Duke fans, cue, oh no, disaster. Well, we got that for you somewhere. Josh, where is it? Oh, there it is.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea! Oh, my goodness!
Oh, my goodness! Ouch. 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 Also, was it a foul on Cooper Flagg?
Oh.
It was not. It definitely was not. But I don't understand what people are so mad about. He got the rebound popped up to... And I got the 2 free throws out of it, but Houston would have had the ball down 1 with 18 seconds left. You don't think they would have got to the free throw line somehow? It's college basketball.
A lot of their
you
game.
always have the option is you just ram into somebody, you can get a free throw out of it. It's beautiful.
It tightened up late, but before that game was a no blood, no foul call.
Yeah. There was some arm locking and pushing and shoving. And
now, one guy was always on the floor for Houston.
Yeah, Mr. Tugler.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Tugler. All right, we're off and running here on a Monday. Glad you're with us on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Hey, so I got a bunch of texts here, Josh.
Bunch of texts.
Yeah,
we're very popular. I get it.
So you're gonna have to fill me in on this. People keep making this reference to like crowns. So here's one from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Did I miss you guys talking about the Crown Championship that Nebraska won? This keeps happening. I don't know what they're. I know that there's a show right now on called The Crown. Was there a Nebraska reference in that show?
I don't think Nebraska was it was. I mean, they did the Princess Di era, so.
Oh,
maybe they talked about Nebraska football.
Wait, so what's that show about? Okay, so The Crown is a historical drama television series about the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, created and principally written by Peter Morgan, produced by Left Bank Pictures. Okay. So there's been 4 seasons. Whoa. No, there's been 6 seasons of this show.
She lived a very long time, Connor.
I suppose. Did it get to the end? But I don't know why people are. I don't know why people are.
I don't think it did, actually.
I don't know why people are talking about. I don't know why people are talking about this too much. They're like, "What about Nebraska and the Crown?" And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
We are not developing a monarchy here in the state.
No, so
never will.
If somebody could fill me in, that would be great.
We're a unicameral government.
Yep. Somebody could fill me in, that would be great. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on there. Anyway, elsewhere this weekend. Gosh, what should we get to for 5 minutes here? Should we just do Hardly Gilmore for a second?
Sure.
Excuse me, Mr. Gilmore.
That's Mr. Gilmore's ball.
Mr. Gilmore accomplished that feat no more than 30 minutes ago. He got kicked off the team. So people are like, I've seen the reaction to this, and people are like, yeah, well, they can handle it because wide receiver is good. And I'm like, wait, hang on.
Nebraska's never had depth at that position.
Now let's just pump the brakes real quick. Let's just go ahead and think about this real quick. So you got Mr. Key Party.
Yes.
He's a transfer, nothing to worry about there. He's good. He's been productive his whole career.
Nothing to worry about.
No, truly. This is like the transfer. Nebraska's got a lot of transfer wide receivers over the years. Banks, Nair last year, Palmer, Samori Toure, Kanavai Noah. Like all those guys, they've been like various levels of productive for Nebraska. This is actually the one like I am most sure about.
Okay.
Now that doesn't Trey Palmer obviously had a fantastic season. But he came in as a guy who hadn't played very much at LSU, but a really highly talented guy and was sitting behind whatever. Like he hadn't played much in his career, so I wasn't sure about him going into the season before he had worn a Husker uniform. Key, like I don't know, he's going to be productive. He's on the same level, if not more so, than Banks, just in terms of what they've already done at the collegiate level and the credentials that they have coming in. So I'm not worried about Key. Hunter, Isaiah Hunter, Isaiah. He was a freshman standout at Cal last year. There's a guy. And then you have Ja'Cory Barney from last year, who I'm sure about him as well. So 2 guys where I'm like, that's dope. Nice. Hunter, we'll see. Production is good. He's young. He's adjusting. You have high hopes. You have high expectations. That one, falls below the threshold of like, I'm really sure that this is going to be good for me anyway. And then Mr. Gilmore got kicked off the team. He was in the same category as Hunter.
What'd he do?
In my opinion. I don't know what he did.
Okay.
It just seemed general, like, not doing the right things, that kind of thing.
No buy-in, quote unquote.
Then outside of that, you have Mr. Mills, who is a freshman who has never played in college before. Mr. Mosey, who's a freshman who's never played in college before. And like Quinn Clark, who is a redshirt sophomore, or no, a redshirt freshman now, and didn't really play last year outside of a couple snaps and late game, low leverage situations. So I'll repeat. Key, Barney, good, thumbs up. The rest of them, Hunter and that's it. Hunter and Cortez Mills and Mosey and Quinn Clark. I'm like, that's okay. Hopefully that works out. How many guys did I just name, Josh? 5?
Yeah, I think so.
That's not very many.
Around there.
That's not very many.
No.
It's not that you need like 100 wide receivers in your wide receiver room, but I'm just saying it's a little bit thinner than I feel like people are leading on right now.
You're gonna want to go 5 wide at some point.
I don't think that you could just be like, yeah, whatever. You're gonna have to get your numbers down, and this is just kind of one of the it is just one of those things, right? If he can't do the right things and stay on the team, then you're gonna have to find another guy. But I think honestly, it becomes one of those positions where if something falls into your lap when the next transfer portal window opens up over the summer, I think you probably have to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Just for me. So I would not put it in the category of like, everything's fine, no big deal. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my take on Mr. Gilmore.
How concerned are we?
About the position?
Yeah. Scale of 1 to 10.
I don't even think it would go, scale of 1 to 10 of concern. So 10 is like, oh my God, all of our receivers are white freshmen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As that is, of course, the worst possible thing.
White freshman from Cozad or something. Okay. Not there.
Dylan's going to need someone to throw the ball to.
Yeah, not a white freshman from Cozad.
That would not be my preference.
3 to 4.
Oh, okay.
3 to 4.
That's not terrible. I can live with that.
No, like it could be a productive group, but I'm saying like it's not the deepest position in the world.
Sure.
That's all. All right. We hardly knew him. Goodbye, Mr. Gilmore. Goodbye, Mr. Gilmore. All right. 11 o'clock hour is coming up. Thanks for being with us here on a Monday. We'll talk about the big news over at Creighton last night and into this morning. Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
That was Pat McAfee's live in Minneapolis today.
That must be where Monday Night Raw is.
Oh, yeah. Is he really on there every week?
Every week.
What does he do?
He's the color commentator. He's great at it, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He just brings that
Is the
fanboy energy to it. It's great.
Who's the play-by-play guy? Is it still Jim Ross?
No, it's Michael Cole.
Michael Cole. All right. Who's the other guy with Jim Ross? With
Jerry the King Lawler.
Jerry the King Lawler.
Puppies.
Those guys were awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I loved those guys.
Goated.
Back in the day. The commentary, the narration of stuff. Guy was just screaming.
My God! That man had a family.
The Jerry the King Lawler. That was a spot on impression, Josh. That's really good.
Man loved puppies.
All right. Some crazy news last night in the evening. Creighton on the volleyball side is going to a new era here. They have replaced Kirsten Bernthal Booth 22 seasons. Something about 22 seasons. Right, 22 seasons for Kirsten. It's going to be 22 for Ed this year. He's stud. Does that mean Max sticks around for another, 7?
Hello.
That'd be great.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'd be fantastic at this point. But Brian Rosen's going to take over. And first of all, Brian's going to be fantastic. He'll be he's a heck of a volleyball coach, and I think has obviously learned from Kirsten over the last couple of years since he's been here. But what you see is a reaction to how many people that Kirsten Bernthal Booth has impacted. And you also see this sort of surprise of, what did she say today? She just turned 50 recently, or maybe a year or two ago at this point. And she built this program from nothing, quite literally nothing. And now is in the NCAA tournament every year and deep into the NCAA tournament every year. And they get the best, they get some of the best support around the country. And it's, she's 14 NCAA tournaments, 3-time national coach of the year, Creighton all-time wins leader by a million miles. And she steps down. She said this morning, I know there was a whole lot of speculation last night. It was what is going on here? Certainly is the first thing everyone thought. What? Was there something happening here?
She must have been forced out.
And she said today, she was like, let me just say this first. Okay. I'm not sick. To my knowledge, she said, and I'm not being forced out. And there was one other thing she said, that she had heard from a lot of people. She's like, it's not that. You just decided now was a good opportunity to elevate kind of herself, at least how she saw herself in the volleyball world. And she's going to move over with Love Volleyball, League One Volleyball. And I mean, what a fantastic out of nowhere get for them.
Good get.
Because the thing, though, is always the thing that, and I worked with Kirsten. Kirsten really single-handedly was responsible for bringing me into the volleyball program this year. It was her idea.
She said, "Get me Connor Happer."
I don't know if she picked me, but somebody else picked me, but it was her idea to have a me at the volleyball games because they went to the Olympics this summer. And kind of watched how the whole thing went and how the presentation of it was and how they engaged with people. And obviously they went to fall all wrong with Taryn Cloth, who was there. Mm-hmm. And, all that stuff and just get a sense of all of it. And they came back and they were like, yeah, this is one of the things that we need. And
So will you be in LA in a few years, in 2028?
will I be there?
Yeah, doing what you do at the Creighton Games at the Olympics?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Is that a campaign we can get off the ground? I mean, it's 2025.
I have been separately invited to the 2028 Olympics contingent upon a couple of things. Have I told you about this before?
Did Jazz invite
Yes.
you? Do I remember that
before
right?
she left, she was like, here's the deal. I want to be in the Olympics for the Australian basketball team in 2028, and you guys, me and my wife, you guys are going to be there. And I don't know if she was. I don't know how many people she told that to, but that's which I was like, okay, just call me, all right. And so, all right, so
you're there, I'm there.
I don't know. Maybe there will be some involvement from me at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Aren't they doing something in Oklahoma City?
The softball is in Oklahoma
that's right,
City,
which makes a bunch of sense. Makes a bunch of sense.
I mean, does it?
Yes. Oklahoma City is the softball capital of...
yes, but the Olympics are half a country away in L.A. It's all the same to foreigners.
Exactly. Just hop on a plane. Hop on a plane for 3 hours? Yes.
There's going to be
in the middle of nowhere.
Some like Angola softball team, and they're like, wow, this is L.A.?
So the thing that the thing that I think is so awesome about Kirsten is kind of exactly what we were just saying. Not only is she, an incredible leader and, a great volleyball coach and a great person to just kind of be around, but as she has grown in this role over the last 22 years, and really what I see coming in, seeing it with fresh eyes over the last couple, is that she has such a great understanding of how important everything is. She has a great view of the big picture, and where she sits in the big picture, where Creighton sits in the big picture, where volleyball is nationally and internationally. And so what she said today, when she said, I have an opportunity to help young volleyball players continue to play, really talented volleyball players continue to play volleyball in America. Like, whatever that role is and however it's designed, she's going to be really, really good at it because it's perfect, But I just think she has such a great understanding of the big picture. She was so good at understanding the program, how it all fits together, the kind of support that you need, the fundraising that you need, and all of that stuff, like the CEO stuff that, we talk about it often on this show and how coaches have become a little bit more of that. It just fits her so well. And she's really good at it. But obviously she's a heck of a volleyball coach too, and a tactician and a game plan designer and all of those things. Like as Kirsten moves on, I'm not really concerned about Creighton from a volleyball perspective, but then what you lose in her as sort of this overseer of all things volleyball is absolutely a gigantic loss for Creighton. No, don't get me wrong. It's a big loss from the tactician standpoint as well, because like I said, she's so good at it, but her staff is going to do amazing. Angie and Brian are fantastic, and Adam, but,
the rest of the staff staying intact.
The rest of the staff is staying,
by the way.
Yes.
And there's enough girls playing volleyball in this state that they'll be fine, I think.
Yeah.
The thing always took me aback about her was that Creighton-Nebraska game. It just, correct me if I'm wrong, Creighton never beat Nebraska.
That's right.
And just how frustrating that must be. But the day of that game, she was always, man, this is great for volleyball.
Yeah. That was always her thing.
It had to drive her so mental just to like, I just want this game one time.
Yeah.
And it was never that. It was always, man, what a great day for our sport.
So it doesn't surprise me to see her moving into a more global role. Mm-hmm. Does it surprise me right now? Yes. I was like, whoa. I was blown away yesterday evening. Whoa. What happened here and all that stuff.
If 6 months ago I had told you, hey, Nebraska and Creighton will have new volleyball coaches. Nope.
I guess I would have believed you on Cook. I don't think I would have believed you on this one.
No.
I would have believed you on Cook, although I didn't see that coming.
Felt a couple years early, but I mean,
Yeah.
it does make sense, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yes. I would have believed you there. I'm not sure I would have believed you here, unless she took another job. Unless Kirsten took another job, which, she's had a billion offers over however long she's been at Creighton now and hasn't taken any of them. And that's, so it doesn't surprise me to see her take a spot, in a global, like, for the good of the game type of area, which, she'll excel at and all of those things. And I imagine she'll be around a little bit as well. Aaron writes in on the text line.
Hi, Aaron.
Speaking of bigger picture, this is just another example of women's volleyball epicenter in this state. As a state, we need to continue to push that over and over as women's sports grows as a whole. I can't wait to see how these new coaches handle it. I mean, to expand into a more global volleyball question now, volleyball conversation. I mean, these two have been so good. These two programs, because of those two coaches, have been so good at what you just said, Josh. Just like always stepping back and saying, this is awesome. And we are we are leaders in this category because of how much the state cares about, the sport. And it's our responsibility to kind of continue that on, regardless of our rivalries. And, you always get the sense of volleyball that everybody's sort of able to kind of come together a little bit. But those two people, John Cook and Kirsten Bernthal Booth, they always embrace the bigger picture. They always were like, how about, Now Cook probably had to take a little bit of convincing because, as you remember, he wasn't so sure about playing the stadium match. He wasn't so sure about moving over to Vanny. Like, he's thinking about it from a really competitive perspective. And obviously Nebraska's already at the top of the sport, and they don't want to give away any competitive edges because they got them all. You don't want to give away any of them. Kirsten, Creighton's always trying to find the edge. What can get them in the national spotlight? What can get them, some attention and things like that. And so they were always looking for ways. And look at how they schedule over the last couple of years. They're playing all the best. They're playing just a rotation of all the best teams in the country, including Nebraska every single year, and getting 10, 15,000 people to go watch at the Chi when it's in Omaha every 2 years, and it will be this fall. But they were sort of, they approached it from different viewpoints. They have approached it from different hotel room floors, I guess you will. Like Nebraska's kind of in the penthouse. Mm-hmm. Creighton's, climbing, but not quite in the penthouse yet. But I don't know. Maybe they will get there. But those two did such an excellent job of just doing things for the greater good of the sport. And that's a big reason why the sport is what it is today in this state, obviously. Anthony writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Anthony.
Says, I think she was the best volleyball coach in the state, and that includes John Cook. Huge loss for the Jays. The Jays will be okay with Brian at the helm, but it's a huge loss for Creighton athletics. I think that's the other thing, too, that Kirsten always talked about. She's been around for a long time. She's seen a lot of different iterations of what this thing has looked like. And so she knows how it works. She's only had a couple different bosses in her time at Creighton, but as you see this will just happen over time. You have to be able to foster in the next generation and advance the program as well. And so Kirsten, in order to step away at this time, must have thought, okay, this is the thing that Brian's the right person to do it. Mac, whenever it happens for him, whenever he goes, he's not going to do it until he feels right about what the next iteration of Creighton basketball looks like. Flan, same thing. He's not going to do it until he feels good about whatever the next iteration of Creighton women's basketball looks like. But no doubt about it, we've done the same coaches and the same success level for a long time. And yes, you do take it for granted. But it's amazing We're going to talk about Creighton as an athletic department and all that stuff a little bit later on when we have the who's rich conversation. But I mean, they made some pretty good hires. Over the years. They're on a pretty good run here, Josh.
A lot of people leaving the place better than when they found it.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. So, congratulations to her. I know it's, she's going to appreciate being with her family a little bit more, something that she hasn't got the chance to do. She had a line in her statement today where she was like, going to her daughter's volleyball.
She actually got to go to one this year.
She got to go to one. She got to go to one during the season this year because they were playing in the same place in Louisville. But she was like, most of my daughter's volleyball games, they look up into the stands and her mom wasn't there. Like that sucked to hear.
Yeah.
So you just want the best for all these people. But I'd like to personally thank Kirsten for just, being that type of person. She is the best to everyone. And that's what I said before. Every little thing about her program was important to her. And all the people, she just had a way of kind of finding that. And so that is a big thing of what Creighton volleyball will be missing without Kirsten Bernthal Booth. Josh,
Connor,
we had Final Four games over the weekend.
Oh, we sure did.
They were good. So let's just talk about this isolated for a couple seconds.
All right.
Was it a Cooper flag foul? I don't understand why this is like the offshoot that everybody wants to talk about today.
Why are we talking about this?
Was it a flag on Cooper? Was it a foul on Cooper flag? Was it a flag on Cooper foul?
Careful.
Flag.
No,
it wasn't. No. Do I care?
Was it a choke job?
You bet.
By Duke? You betcha.
Bet. Let's talk about how good Flag is, though. Holy crap. Holy smokes. That guy is incredible. The way he controlled that game pretty much the entire time.
That's why I picked him to win it all. I was like, well, eventually the best player is just going to take over.
I just watched that game and I thought, as Duke extended out their lead and they got it to 14, obviously with 8 minutes left, and I'm ripping up national championship tickets and I'm ripping up money line tickets just mentally in my head. And I'm like, I just don't think, even if Houston is able to put it on them for a couple minutes and find the edge defensively and get out and run, I just don't feel like they have the playmaking to do this, because ultimately they're going to have to make shots. They're going to have to create shots and make shots. Duke was just matching everything that Houston. We talk about Houston defensively and how in their face they are. Duke was doing all the same stuff. They were pushing Houston way back. They were way uncomfortable on offense. And that's not really their MO, like the playmaking piece of it. They create great shots. And it was really Roberts who did most of the playmaking for them down the stretch to be able to get them back in that game, and then get the 2 free throws at the end. I was amazed that both of those free throws went in. He looked like he was very uncomfortable. Shot it off the side of his hand and stuff like that. But so they had it. So 14-point lead with 8 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
And then Duke immediately gets it back out to 9 after Houston had I think it was a 10-0 run in there. And they got it down to 1 possession or 2 possessions right in the middle, like probably about 5 minutes to go. And then Duke immediately got it back out to 9. And you're just like, okay, that's
the death blow.
They had their run and
ran out of gas.
And that's it. And during that entire process, Tugler got the stupid one-shot tech for being an idiot and trying to grab the ball as they're trying to inbound it. I don't know what he's doing. On top of being on the ground constantly.
All the time.
Houston went on a 9-0 run in the last 35 seconds of the game. A couple of key turnovers. Obviously, Houston, the clip went, the clip that started going out there was basically they did the exact same thing in the Kansas game this year, where they stole, they're down 3, they steal an inbound, and the guy just beelines it toward the 3-point line, shoots the three. In this case, they missed it. Got the offensive rebound, put back, tip dunk. Bah! That was an incredible play. That was kind of like Jason Green from last year, but way more important and way like more thunderous, I think. But what a heck of a basketball game. As a Houston bettor, I was extremely happy.
I'm glad you were forthcoming with that information.
Oh, I have to. I mean, I told you that I thought Houston was going to win the national championship from several months ago.
Yeah.
So I might as well just bet them here.
Absolutely.
Right?
One of those games where you watched it and you're just like, I watched it. I don't really know how it happened, but I watched it.
By the way, okay, so I get another text here.
Okay.
From the 402.
Hi, 402.
I can't believe I'm wasting my time listening to this show.
Whoa.
I bet another radio station is talking about Nebraska basketball.
Okay. What show?
What
show is talking about?
What happened with Nebraska basketball?
I don't know. You think Rich Eisen's talking about Nebraska ball right now?
I don't think so.
You think
I can tell you what McAfee's talking about. They got some guy with a weird shirt on and he's saying nonsense.
You think Colin Cowherd's talking about Nebraska ball right now?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Portal pickups?
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what happened with Nebraska basketball. We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't really know of anything. So just let us know.
We'd love to. I mean, we
talk about Nebraska basketball all the time.
All the time.
On the show. Josh.
Remember our parody song?
We made a parody song. Josh, did you ever actually cancel them?
I believe I did, yes.
You canceled them at some point this year?
I believe the USC loss.
They had a nice addition in the transfer portal. And actually 2 nice additions in the transfer portal, right? Over the last 4 or 5 days. And yeah, they got the kid from Iowa, and then they got the kid who everyone calls him Oogie.
Oogie.
Yeah. From Central Michigan.
Oh, I missed Oogie. Oh, yeah, with the unpronounceable name.
Exactly.
Okay.
But they call him Oogie.
Uh-huh.
And
good.
I think we're up to date. I think we're up to date on Nebraska basketball at this point. So you let us know if there's anything else. We'll be back. Mike Schaefer will join us on the other side. You're listening to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer,
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth. For sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
All right, and we welcome in our dear, dear friend, Mike J. Schaefer of Husker 247. Schaefer, hello. Happy Monday. How are you?
I am doing well, Connor. I'm enjoying a feeling that you know all too well, the fresh haircut, the fresh beard trim. You feel like a whole new person.
Schaefer.
I meant to do it on Friday. I had to reschedule to Monday. It's a great way to start the week.
On a Monday, no less. That's what I was just going to say. What an unbelievable week starter.
Yeah, it's such a great feeling. And I was looking pretty homeless. I'm not going to lie. It had been about 2 weeks. Sometimes it's two weeks, but about 2 months since the beard had been trimmed. And the hair is, whatever. I can't grow hair. That's just where we're at there for the top of my head. But the beard, it was looking like there was a nest in it. It just needed to be, we needed to really kind of, ourselves up. Spring cleaning, if you will.
Are you anywhere near the point that I got to in the last year or so where I just took it all the way home on the top and turned in the keys to the growing on the top of the head there?
No, because I think what's going to happen for me is I'm going like horseshoe bald. But my fear is, like my big fear is I don't want what I refer to as like the island green, where you have that front patch of hair and then there's nothing in the middle. Like, you're hitting off the tee box over the water.
That's where I was at.
Landing.
Yeah.
And when I get there, then decisions would have to be made. But there's a chance that front patch also goes just like the top does too. And then I'm just Bruce Willis bald, which I can live with that. Like I can live with the hair on the sides and kind of hanging in a little bit if you keep it short. But I'm not in Mike Sauter, Connor Happer territory yet.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect to be, but here we are.
Well, you do it well. It looks good for you. It's I find, and look, maybe this is just because I have an idea as to where my future is going, but I find most people who end up shaving it's a good look for them. It looks well.
Thank you.
It's better than some people who either cling to their hair or grow out too much hair. So, you can go the wrong way that way too.
Have you played any golf? Did you play any golf this weekend?
Not this weekend. I played golf last week, and I played golf a couple times this year already. It's looking nice out though. I'm playing Wednesday. I'm excited about that.
Is this the year? This is what I say. This is what I say to all my friends at the beginning of every year. This is the year, and then the end of that sentence is where we finally get good at golf. We finally turn the corner, but it's never the year. That's the secret.
I have gotten to where I am mostly in the low 90s. I just cannot seem to eliminate that one or two blow up holes. Mm-hmm. I'll have a stretch. Like I had one the other day when I played where it's like 6 straight holes of either par or I think there was one bogey in there. But then the other 3 holes are so unforgivably bad that it's still not like a scorecard you're particularly proud of. So like I have the ability in me. I just can't get the consistency across 18 holes to be in the 80s, which is where I would like to be routinely for golf. Instead, mostly low 90s and then flirt with the high 90s more often. Flirt with triple digits way more often than I wanted. It's like Nebraska basketball. There's that 10-minute stretch where you just know they're not going to score. There's that like 3-hole stretch where I know I'm putting up numbers. So I have to have a 3-hole stretch to counter that.
So here's what I figured out. Here's the excuse that I use, not to get too deep into this conversation, but this is fun. What I found is I think for both you and I, we both play golf because it's fun and we like to hang out with friends and things like that. It takes a level of focus that is probably just unachievable, that like to actually get better from the points that both of our golf games are at right now. Like, unfortunately, we would just have to really like lock it up and get super competitive in golf. And that's just not where I want to go with where I play golf at this point. I guess I've decided that I'm kind of okay where I'm at.
The problem I have with golf is that my commitment to the game ends as soon as the 18th hole is over.
Correct.
I am not someone who shows up and hits balls before I go and play. I don't make good use of the practice green or the chipping green or what have you before a round, or even just, that's the commitment I would have to make. It'd be like taking a couple of hours, maybe not daily, but a few times a week to just go putt and to go chip. And I could probably knock a dozen strokes off, not every round, but in general could be a lot better with just chipping. And that would really, really help me out. But I have no interest in doing that. My interest in golf is to go play starting on one, unless it's a tournament or a scramble, and then play my 18 holes, enjoy that time, and then not think about golf again until the next time that I'm out there golfing.
Great.
The problem is, it's when you're in the middle of that, you're like, I should be better at this. Because inherently, we always want to be better at something that we think we're at least okay at. And that's very, that's just where I'm at. Plus, I'm not the worst person that most people play with, but I don't like being, I at least want to be like average. That's what I aspire to in life. Well, I would just be average. And I don't know if I'm average at golf.
Just want to blend in. Average. Just want to blend in with everybody else.
Don't want to be on the extreme.
Exactly. Schaefer, we don't ask you recruiting questions very much, but this is, I guess, a recruiting adjacent question.
No, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. We'll keep that going, but we're gonna break the trend here. So you wrote a little thought. You dropped it on your message board on Donovan Raiola and how players seem to respond to him now that he's gotten. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this has just been him all the way. Like, I guess, what is your thought on Donovan Raiola as a recruiter now compared to maybe what it has been before or what it was when he got here?
Yeah, this has kind of been a thing I've been percolating on for a little while because there's something unique with Donovan Raiola in that I think that he is not a particularly strong recruiter unless it's in person. And I don't mean that as like a bad thing. I just mean the full effect of what Donovan Raiola is as a position coach is not going to happen over a phone call. It's not going to happen through DM.
Right.
It's not going to happen when he stops by your school. Where he wins people over. And the reason this all sort of comes about is Nebraska had more offensive linemen on campus this weekend. I went back and was just looking at quotes from offensive linemen throughout the last year or so that have visited and what always seems to stand out to him. And it's watching him coach. People, and I shouldn't say people, offensive line recruits tend to gravitate towards how Donovan Raiola coaches. And what I mean by that is he seems to win a lot of respect because he is hard on his guys during the run of practice, but he is also very, very, will pick them up too. Like, it's not just bury them and leaves them in the dirt and they have to figure their way back out through this. He is constantly like coach hard, love hard, play hard. Like that's the offensive line mentality. And that's really kind of stood out to me because you talk to these different recruits and they all have their experience with different places. And one of the things that just comes out of the guys who come and watch spring practice, and it's usually what this is, just really like watching him coach. They like what that looks like. And then you think about how many different offensive linemen, and it's not just the guys that were, stood through him for the 3 years, but just the various ones he's had in his room. To a man, they all like him. And he doesn't come across in a way, he doesn't come across that way when he does his interviews, and he doesn't come across that way, I think, generally over the phone. And I will never be writing a story about how he's one of the top recruiters for Nebraska.
Right.
But I think when you can marry up the people that are good with that, and they can go talk with the linemen in the off season on the phone and get them excited, and then they come and they see the way that Raiola coaches and the sort of the brotherhood that the offensive line is kind of built, which has been a thing for 3 or 4 years now, and maybe even beyond. But I've heard that from different guys that have either come to Nebraska or gone elsewhere. that there's a closeness with that offensive line that's unique. And I just think there's something really unique there. And I wonder if Matt Rule saw that, which is why he ended up keeping him. I know that he really liked the way that he taught and communicated and that kind of thing. But I think he was very out on Donovan Raiola from the moment that he was hired all the way through the moment that he was brought back, really even through the first year at Nebraska, to begrudgingly accepting last year that things were going correct. I think I just have to admit and take a loss on Raiola. I think he's an asset for Nebraska and what they're going to do on the field and even off the field in a way that I never would have thought in 2021, December of 21, when you and I have an entirely different radio show and he's hired. And we're just thinking, okay, the answer to your offensive line issues for Nebraska, the guy who's never been a line coach before or been the full line coach before. And so I just want to give him, a measure of credit. That he's going to have to continue to earn. This offensive line is going to have to continue to earn for him. But I definitely think that Donovan Raiola has become an asset for Nebraska in a way that I never saw coming.
You know what, Schaefer? When you think about, and not to compare Donovan Raiola to any of the greats, but when you think about the most well-known offensive line coaches throughout the history of college football, and college football is different now, you think about guys who stayed at a place for like a really long time, and B, were known for probably a lot of the things that you just described, not necessarily in how they do it, but the fact that they were tacticians, probably pretty softly spoken, didn't love to talk to the media, weren't known as like major recruiting gurus or whatever it might be. Like, I don't know. He seems like an offensive line coach, right? I guess as you put the whole picture together.
Yeah, it's tough though, because the pushback I would have on that is I think previously the best offensive line coach I've covered at Nebraska in my time of being, working and covering recruiting and covering the football team is John Garrison. And John Garrison is incredibly good at all of this stuff. Like he's very good at talking with recruits. He's very good at being on the phone. He's going to make a difference when he does an in-school or an in-home visit. There's a reason that he's a successful college football coach. There's a reason that people kind of wanted Scott Frost to hire him in 2021. And I was coming at it and then you had Mike Cavanaugh, who wasn't necessarily super successful on the field, though I don't know how much of that was his fault. You look at some of the linemen he was able to help bring in. They helped set up Nebraska for Scott Frost to have some guys too. And so I think Mike Cavanaugh was good in that aspect of it as well. What stood out to me with Donovan Raiola is it's gone about a different way. Like people are very intrigued or very complimentary of his coaching style. Or recruits are. I keep saying people, but I mean the actual guys who either play football or understand football or are doing this at a higher level are generally pretty impressed by what he's like during the practice field. And it's just so different than a Garrison or a Cavanaugh or even a Greg Austin. Like it's just the personality is so different. And so it's been noticeable to me because I thought that was going to be a problem. And in a weird way, it's not at all, because there's an asset or a strength that I didn't perceive that is clearly playing out. And I think they're going to continue to recruit well on the offensive line. And then I kind of think early on, the offensive line is quietly maybe the story of the spring, based on some conversations I've had with people that have watched a lot more than the 20 minutes of practice that we got on Thursday a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Matt Rule seems to agree. He seemed pleasantly surprised by what he's got out of the offensive line so far, even though the only thing that we could talk about going into the spring was the fact that all of them were injured. So that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of it is guys like Grant Bricks and Preston Talmua and the Sam Sledges, and I'm going to leave someone off, I'm sure, Jason Machachak, like those younger guys. You remember he had that opening line, or not opening line, but in a couple weeks before spring even started, he had that line about how he was excited to see what his young offensive linemen were, because maybe they're not necessarily starters this year, but you'll find out if they're on the path to being people that you can count on in their third year. Well, some of them, I mean, a guy like Grant Bricks might be on the 2 deep. And not just out of necessity, but because he's earned his way there. And I think that's sort of what we're hearing with the line has done really well this spring. The running game has looked good in parts this spring because of the offensive line. So again, call it spring hype, call it whatever you want, but I think there's a reason to at least be more optimistic about Nebraska's offensive line than maybe where we were at the beginning of March.
Yeah. Oh, definitely for me. I don't think there's any doubt about it for me. Shafe?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was following up.
No, it kind of sounded like you just stopped in the middle of a sentence there, and then I didn't know what to do. All right. All right.
My bad. Sorry.
All right. Good to talk, as always. Appreciate you, Schaefer. Good stuff as always, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry for the confusion there. Man.
That's all right. Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. Sorry, I got confused.
It happens.
It happens.
You're human.
I am. In real life, you have the option when someone stops talking in the middle of a sentence. Let's say Schaefer and I are out playing golf, as we have many times together. Schaefer has a long soliloquy or something like that, and then it just stops. It just stops. In real life, you could just not say anything.
Right.
It's amazing, and nothing happens. But here we have to keep talking.
Yeah.
They wouldn't like it if we just sat here. Or maybe to some people it would be better.
Some people would appreciate
it.
It
would be like, actually, it'd be really good if we just stopped talking the entire time. But we're just probably going to keep talking.
Probably.
All right. The noon hour is coming up, but that's not before the odd news.
I've got it.
Josh has it. Next on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Time for the odd news with Josh Odson.
What an odd weekend it was.
All right. Let's see.
We begin with one of the greatest sporting events we have as a society, the Masters. That's right. The Masters.
Dun, 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 dun. Bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum, dun, 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 bum, bum, ba-da. I could listen to that all day long.
Hello, friends.
That might actually be better. The CBS Masters song might actually be better than the Masters song.
Oh, wow.
Be a poll question.
Yeah, we could put that up there.
Okay.
You want to type that out while I?
Yeah, but I want to put All right, no, let's just do it.
Okay.
I'll put it up there. What's going on with the Masters?
One of the things us rubes love most
Today's
about
a part 3,
the
right?
Masters. Well, today's practice round was canceled due to weather.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah. So
I thought weather didn't affect the Masters. I thought they paid the weather off.
Look,
Do they have like exclusivity on sunshine?
You give us that shot of the azaleas, and we'll do some dastardly things. But no, the concession prices. We as Americans,
Oh, we love to talk about this.
it's cheap. Oh my gosh, could you imagine going to a sporting event and paying $2.50 for a cheese sandwich? Everybody loves it. It's one of the things we can agree on as a society, unless you're Darren Rovell,
He hates when it's cheap.
who launched a tirade against food at Augusta National and their famously cheap food prices. Now at his own sports collectibles platform, Clucked. It's collect without all the vowels. Clucked. Rovell unleashed one of his trademark contrarian takes to the world. Everyone getting excited about the cheap food. The beloved menu drew the ire of Darren Rovell, who unfavorably compared the Masters' famous pimento cheese sandwich to a giant plate of loaded fried green tomatoes at the Braves A-ball affiliate. He said, hey, this fried green tomato dish is better than anything you'll find at Augusta this weekend.
Well, Darren, you're missing the point. Like, it's not the fact that it tastes good.
He continued the social media crusade against Masters food by dissing it even further, saying patrons were getting what they paid for instead of a great deal, that bougie Masters attendees were not impressed by $1.50 sandwiches.
No, of course they're not. Of course they're not.
He even compared it to gas station food in a tweet.
The rich people have the option to buy more expensive stuff wherever they're sitting in the deal. You know, they could get their catered suite or whatever they got over there. They get some places for them. They get some places for executives to sit.
But the charm is, hey,
I don't care that the food is a handmade Wonder Bread pimento cheese spread sandwich that costs $1.50. Like, I don't care that the quality of that is not as good as a nacho inside of a helmet.
Exactly.
I don't care.
I think
I give that up for this specific day on this, whenever the dream does come true.
Standing on this ground, you could feed me a bleep sandwich and I would happily eat it.
That's
because
exactly
this
right.
is hallowed ground.
Feed me a bleep sandwich. Josh Hodson.
Put that on a graphic.
Aaron
Bet
writes
you
in,
won't, cowards. Hi, Aaron.
If you made a list of top 5 most socially unaware people, does anyone come in number 2 or does Rovell get 1 and 2? Good question.
Off the top of my head, 1 and 2 would be Darren Rovell. But allow me to give you another person.
An option?
Who might be on this list.
Get me to God's country.
Well, yeah, they made fun of him over the weekend. Skip Bayless.
Pretty socially unaware.
Yeah, and around the end of Saturday's Duke-Houston game, shortly before midnight, he hopped on X, and this is what he tweeted. I'm about to post a video on Cooper Flagg and the clutch gene. And then about half an hour later, he posted a 15-minute video of himself asking, does Cooper Flagg have the clutch gene?
That was the obvious take. That's really what it's turned into for Skip. I used to hear Skip Bayless takes, for not necessarily for nuance, but it always seemed as if he would have an angle that nobody else was saying. He would try to find the most ridiculous thing. Now he just says the most obvious dumb thing, which has made his game a lot worse. Come on, Skip.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
posted a video of himself wearing a Vanderbilt hat, and he's all caps. Wait, does Cooper Flagg have everything but the clutch gene? Was the caption accompanying the video.
Nice.
It was made all the more odd because Skip Bayless has heaped praise upon Cooper Flagg all season long. This basketball season, I have been in awe of Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
I have proclaimed him the best white American player since Larry Bird. White guys who talk about basketball, stop fetishizing Larry Bird. Just stop it, okay? It's weird.
Hey,
just a personal note.
That Cooper Flagg can play, though.
He can.
He can like Larry Bird.
He can. I went so far as to say my mind is open to even going along with maybe he's in the same league as Larry Bird because he's got all the tools, all of which were on display all night long, except the clutch gene.
Oh.
And then, of course,
Thank you, Skip.
That devolved into LeBron James not having the clutch gene. And
oh, really? That was all covered in that 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Nice job, Skip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really played the hits.
Had to do it. It.
And finally, everyone with a segment like this, I know there's lots of odd news segments in the world. Everyone is required by odd news law to talk about this story, so we will talk about it here for you. A pair of critically endangered, nearly 100-year-old Galapagos tortoises at the Philadelphia Zoo have become first-time parents. In an announcement Friday, the zoo said it is overjoyed at the arrivals of 4 hatchlings, a first in its more than 150-year history. The babies are the offspring of female mommy. The
female mommy.
The female tortoise's name is Mommy and did not become a mommy until she hit 100 years old. Interesting. And
that's cool.
Motherhood does not define women, Philadelphia Zoo. And male Abrazo, the 2 oldest residents of the Philadelphia Zoo. The quartet is being kept behind the scenes as us here in Omaha are used to when parents at the zoo have a baby. They are kept under lock and key as the doctors there can watch them. 100 years old, becoming a parent.
That's the story?
Yeah.
How long do tortoises live?
They live about 150 years, I think.
How long do tortoises live?
Great question.
Between 80 to 150 years.
Okay.
Some can surpass this age in captivity under the right care. So if we go off of our, I don't know, 80-year life expectancy? 80?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably.
I mean, people often do 100, but we know that ain't it anymore.
Nah. What is a human life expectancy?
What's an American life expectancy?
Ooh. American.
It's probably like upper 70s.
77.43 years.
Okay, so let's just say 80.
Mm-hmm. 74.8 for males, 80.2 for females. If you want the breakdown like that.
So that's about right.
Yeah,
that's about right for the tortoise.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're more than halfway. We having kids.
How
many tortoises do they have? How many tortoises do the tortoises have at a time? Just one tortoise?
Oh, this was 4 hatchlings.
4?
Yeah. Quadruplets, I guess.
4 more tortoises. Tortois, if you will.
Just feels like, I mean, you do you. Like, don't let me stop you, but it just feels a little late in life to hey, let's have a kid.
100 years.
100
Imagine
years
the
old.
things that tortoise has seen.
Yeah. I mean, what was happening in 1925? Chance
you could comment on all the things that the tortoises have seen. I know one thing that the tortoise hasn't seen.
Oh?
Yeah.
What's that?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I have literally no idea.
Nebraska basketball has never won a tournament game.
Oh, no. Well, a lot of people haven't seen that.
Exactly. But that tortoise, no one person has seen that.
But
that tortoise has been alive 100 years and hasn't seen it.
Are these Tortois basketball fans? Do we even know?
Well, we'll have to ask.
They've also never seen the Wizards win 50 games in a season.
Wow, that's true too. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. The noon hour is coming up. We still have some texts. People are keep texting it about various things. A couple tweets that we have to get to.
Okay.
Coming up on the other side.
Yeah, we
Sam
can get to-
McKewon is going to join us at 1.
Sam.
We'll talk some football with him. Still plenty to come as we're halfway home. The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Where do I go to get my house settlement tweets? I need some house settlement tweets.
Oh, that feels like a Ross Dellinger thing.
Should I check on Ross?
Yeah, how's Ross today? Probably hates his life. This probably isn't fun for Ross.
Ross Dellinger. His last tweet was 52 minutes ago, pimping a story that he has. 2 hours ago. Oh, okay. Hang on. He's got a bit of a thread. You're looking live at the Donald V. Dellums Federal Building in the U.S. Courthouse on a cold, rainy day here in downtown Oakland, where the final hearing of the NCAA's House settlement will unfold starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's right now. It is 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Oh, yeah.
No photographs, video, or recordings are permitted during the hearing, much like the Masters, which could last until 5 p.m. Pacific time. Holy God, that's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
However, tweeting and texting are allowed. All right.
Okay.
All right. Tweeting and texting are allowed, but not photos or videos. The hearing is an opportunity for 14 people, attorneys and athletes, to object to the settlement before Judge Claudia Wilkin. She will hear objections, ask questions, and seek responses from those who struck the deal. NCAA lawyer Rakesh Kilaru and plaintiff lawyers Steve Berman and Jeff Kessler. It is widely believed that the hearing will not produce a ruling from Wilkin on Monday. A decision is more likely in the coming days. Her decision and the timing of it impacts basketball portal signings and could, if it drags on, impact the opening of a football portal. Yes, that was the other bit that people were doing. They were trying to do as many deals as they possibly could in the basketball portal before they have to go through the stupid clearinghouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Which is obviously just going to get challenged in court.
Mhm.
And
You're fine, everyone.
I think so. Like, I don't know how that holds. You can't limit what you are paying the college kids.
Everything gets
They're
challenged.
just going to sue you. Look at what Diego Pavia did.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia sued eligibility. He said,
I played JUCO. That's
the fact that I played junior college, I should get those years back because I could have been making money if I was at a Division I school and making NIL money during that period of time. And they were like, damn.
You're right, kid.
He's right. Give him money immediately. That's absolutely what we're doing right now. By the way, so we got a comment. We got a tweet here from Chance.
Hi, Chance.
Says, my face as I listen to at Connor Happer at Happer Show continue the bit on the show today. And it is a picture of Jawan Gary sitting in a throne. And behind him is Cale Jacobson and Berke Buchtenjel.
Berke.
And
always diving in.
Somebody else in Aaron Eulis. And they are celebrating something.
Probably getting that Sanford kid.
Oh. This is a recruiting photo shoot.
Yeah. Remember they had that big throne?
Yes. That's what they did with the throne.
The football players can't use it anymore.
That's finally what they did with the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh, and what they added now apparently is a sparkly basketball.
Sparkly?
Look at the sparkly basketball that Jawan Gary is holding in this photo.
Why would it be sparkly? That's going to rub off on your hands. You're just going to hate that. It's going to be everywhere.
It's great to see the throne. The throne is back.
Love it.
I thought that they were going to kill the throne. I thought they were now, whose idea was it to retire the throne? Wasn't it?
It was the NCAA's, right? They were like, hey, you can't use props in recruiting anymore.
Yes, that's right. No more thrones. Mm-hmm. So when you go take your recruiting pictures, you have to go out to the middle of the field and do backflips or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember the one with Carter Nelson?
Oh, yeah. I do.
That somebody photoshopped their faces onto. That was funny.
That was a good bit.
That was a good bit. I don't know what this is as a bit. It's certainly not one. It's Jawan Gary sitting in a chair in the throne, the aforementioned throne, and they've added the basketball, and he looks like sort of the godfather of
Very
sorts.
Dawnish.
Yes. Sort of the godfather of sorts, and he's looking into the camera, and I would imagine that Nebraska just sent that out to all their potential portal guys today.
Just a reminder.
All their recruits.
This could be you.
Because we have a sparkly basketball, a bedazzled basketball, and a big chair that you can sit in.
Kids love big chairs.
I love the big chair. I don't know why the NCAA ever took away the big chair. Now, the question is Nebraska breaking a recruiting rule by using the big chair?
No, I think that was in football only.
Oh, okay.
I think this counts. This is okay.
That's good.
Also, NCAA. What power do they have? We just talked
That's
about
true.
it.
We can sue them for anything. As Kenneth says, I'm suing the
Kenneth.
government because while I was wasting away in school from kindergarten to 12th grade, I could have been working the mines instead.
Great point,
You
Kenneth.
can.
You could have.
They'll give you $1 million for that.
You could have been allegedly making suits for Kathy Lee Gifford.
Damn.
What a dated reference.
Damn. Yeah. All right. Good one, though, Josh. I like that. Dan Z writes in.
Hi, Dan Z.
This is the dumbest bit.
Oh.
What is this? And we did.
Remember Wednesday Trends Day?
Yeah, that was the dumbest bit. That was the dumbest bit.
Just really thought that was going to take off.
This, I don't know what this is, but this is not a bit.
Talking about a recruiting photo.
Oh, there have been photos, and then people have been weirdly talking about that TV show about the Queen, and I don't know.
Must be a new season coming up. Everybody's binging it.
People are trying to troll us today.
Yeah, I will not be trolled.
I don't. It will not happen. Got a couple emails.
All right.
For the people who are out there. This is from Colin of White Plains.
Hi, Colin of White Plains.
So I'm flying to San Antonio for work today. God bless you.
Wow. What a stupid company you work for sending you there today.
The flight from DFW to San Antonio is completely full, and there are a ton of Florida fans here. I guess I was lucky to get a plane ticket to San Antonio. Yes, you were, Colin.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Your office probably paid a premium for it.
The Florida fans are showing up en masse. And then Ballpoint Bob.
BPB.
But he wants to now be known as Birdie Putt Bob.
Birdie Putt Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conan. I'm not a person who gives advice on the golf course, but I will give some of the best advice that you can get in golf. Check Golf Sidekick and watch your scores drop. Not only will you, this sounds like an ad, not only will you your golf game improve, you will laugh and enjoy every minute of the videos. Best guy out there for learning how to score with your game. Don't change your swing. Don't listen to the dumb nuts out there. Sincerely, BPB, Birdie Putt Bob.
Is this like the crime dog Fred McGriff's batting videos back in the day?
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about Tom and Mansky?
Yeah.
No, it sounds like you don't have to like technically change anything about yourself.
Nothing's wrong with you. You just have to have more fun.
Is it all about a mental approach or something like that? Oh, well, look at this. Here's Chances follows up with another picture. This is a Dylan Raiola.
Dylon?
And he is sitting in the big chair, and he has added something, a crown.
Oh.
He's added a crown to his I guess Jawan had that in the first picture too.
Oh, he's clearly in the throne. This is a violation. I'm going to send this to the NCAA.
Now that is a cool crown. Where did he get that? Dylan Raiola is where. Now, why were Dylan Raiola and Jawan Gary in the same place? What happened?
Probably from back in like January or February. Because he's wearing that turtleneck that he wore to all the games.
No, he's not. I think kids are zipping up the quarter zips all the way these days.
Kids are stupid.
I don't know what they're doing with the quarter zips. You know they're also the kids are doing? They're buttoning up the top button of their polos.
I just saw Jay Williams on TV here, and he had just a regular polo shirt, all three buttons buttoned.
We got some kids in the chat.
Looked like he couldn't swallow.
Oh, Trips, are you buttoning up the top button of your polo? What's going on? What's going on with that?
Yeah. Don't do that. Let it breathe.
Matthew says Dylon was in Vegas with Dannon. What? Why did Dylan
The
Raiola,
athletic director should not be taking children to Vegas.
Why did Dylan Raiola and Troy Dannon go to Vegas together?
Dylan is not 21. He cannot be going to Vegas.
Well, I mean,
That's erroneous.
they've tried to make it more of a kids-friendly place.
They're always going to try, but there's always going to be some lady of the night handing you a flyer.
My parents told me the story yesterday. Apparently, they took me to Vegas when I was a little tiny baby.
Okay.
And
That's why you love it so much.
it's possible. The Vegas got in me. And they took me to Vegas when I was really little, and they were about to walk into one of the casinos or something like that, and they were stopped. They were like, "No, that baby cannot come in."
Sure.
And I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." But I go back. I've been to Vegas 100 times now, as an adult, and I see babies everywhere. They don't care anymore at all.
Oh, wow.
There's young families walking through, just enjoying their time. They have T-shirts denoting that they were at the David Copperfield show and things of that nature. They just went on the roller coaster and they have a big picture from it. They look at me. It's a picture. It's a candid picture of me on the roller coaster at New York, New York. There are so many kids in Vegas.
Now, when will you take your child to Vegas?
I won't.
Okay.
I don't. Actually, I shouldn't say that
So
for sure.
you know better than your parents. Got it.
I should say that. Well, they were meeting because my aunt and uncle lived there at the time.
Oh, okay.
I just,
They had a reason.
they had to take me along.
Sure.
They really had no choice. So I don't begrudge them for it. But so back to Dylan. You know, there's plenty of things for Dylan to do while in Vegas
Okay.
that aren't nefarious.
Oh, he's probably getting
He
ready
could go to a show.
The bowling team is going to be there for the Final Four, Suncoast Bowling Center, Las Vegas, Nevada, this coming weekend. You got there a little early, it seems. But
Dude, a whole week in Vegas? Could you imagine?
Isn't there a week of spring practice that he needs to be at?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think he'll be there.
Wonder if this is an excused absence to support the bowling team.
Oh, this is probably it. Kenneth says Betty went nuts at the M&M factory. There is one of those.
He looks like it.
There's a lot of good stores there, like high end. I mean, he's rich. He's got a couple $1 million probably. Like there's a lot of high end stores. If you walk like through there's like a promenade there. There's like an aria kind of.
Okay.
Probably. But I don't know what Danon would like. Did Danon have to accompany him to Vegas?
Again, he is under 21, maybe.
Yes, I guess. Somebody's got to give me the update on that.
I can't have you, the prize quarterback, getting in trouble in Vegas. I will accompany you everywhere. It's like that time that Phil Jackson said, "All of you better be at practice," and then
Dennis Rodman
went to Vegas and
great
appeared
idea.
on WCW Monday Nitro.
All right, so a text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
That's from the basketball game yesterday. Well, the basketball game,
UConn, South Carolina.
yeah, that wasn't in Vegas. That was in Tampa.
What a great redemption story for Paige Beckers.
In the Final Four was in San Antonio, as we previously mentioned. So I don't know. There was no basketball game yesterday.
Well, there was. It was just a women's game.
Right. No, there was nothing going on in Vegas. That's for sure.
Got to prep the city for the
Does Vegas have a G League team?
bowling Final Four.
UNLV or something like that? No. So it couldn't have been from that. All right. So let's take a break here.
Okay.
We will return. Still plenty more things to discuss. Once again, Sam McKewon is going to join us at 1. You're listening to the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone. Josh, actually, first I have a reminder for people. And that is
tell them
that this week's zone deal, is this true, by the way? This week's zone deal is to
I never know.
Okay, I should have asked. This week's zone deal is to Backlot Tap House, Omaha's place for the best Detroit style pizza with 30 beers on tap. It's a perfect place to relax with friends for pizza and beer. This Friday, get $50 worth of gift certificates for just $25. And Gary and Matt in the mornings, Gary and Matt during the mornings will have a chance to win one for free.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're like, let me kick you a little $50 to Backlot Tap House here. Gary and Matt got it this time, and they'll have your chance to win it throughout the week. Or you can get the zone deal Friday at 9, 1620thezone.com. Hey, Josh, on Friday we talked about Trev Alberts and how he didn't hire Chris Beard.
Yeah, he probably should have done that.
Did you see what he did do?
No, actually, I didn't.
Well, he hired somebody.
Oh, apparently missed a lot this weekend. Okay, continue.
He hired Sanford coach Bucky McMillan.
Sanford's coach?
Samford, Josh, have some respect.
Sorry.
Samford.
Oh, I don't think the Aggie fans like that.
He's 41 years old.
Okay.
Before he held the Samford job, he was the coach at Mountain Brook High School. That was all the way through 2020.
Oh, no. And how is this being received in College Station?
I don't know, Josh.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, first response to the tweet, getting to know the new home.
Welcome home, Bucky.
Bucky Ball has arrived.
Oh, Bucky Ball. Now, to be fair, Bucky is pretty highly thought of in the coaching community.
Why is Trev not giving him the tour?
He was busy.
He's busy talking about that baseball team that actually finally won some games over the weekend.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Bucky is pretty highly thought of in the coaching community.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of basketball people who are just like, nice job here. Like, this is
basketball hire.
Yeah, like this is a case of actually going out and regardless of what your crazy ass fan base wants or what the money says you could buy, you actually going out and hiring a real basketball coach.
The Trev Alberts special.
You never know how things are going to work. Bucky McMillan went to the NIT this past year at Samford. And before that, went 29-6 on their way to the NCAA tournament in 2024. Also tied for first in the SoCon the year before that.
NIT doesn't count.
The NIT, he lost in the NIT.
Even worse.
He lost in the first round of the NIT.
Wow. Sad.
Yeah. I mean, look, the NIT is still the postseason basketball tournament, I guess, but like it's not, it goes without saying, it's not the NCAA tournament.
But he made the NCAA tournament.
He made the NCAA tournament last year.
Okay.
Not this year.
Okay. Sorry.
Which is still going on.
Sorry.
Last year.
NCAA tournament's important.
Correct. And the NIT's still kind of cool, but not that cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know how Texas A&M works. They love it. They want to hire the best coach because that is what they believe they're entitled to.
That's right.
And they have more money than God. And they're like, well, what's stopping us? We have more money than God.
Direct quote.
We could go take any coach from anywhere right now, pay them as much money as they could have ever dreamed of, and they could come to our school and they could win basketball games. Trev Alberts is their athletic director. He doesn't necessarily view things that way. He doesn't really like spending money, even though he has more money than God. At his fingertips. People have accused him of going to the bargain bin before, but he's hired some pretty good coaches over his time, whether it be at Omaha or at Nebraska or at Texas A&M. But you pair that along with the environment that he has entered into, which is during his first summer as the athletic director at Texas A&M, his baseball coach, which had just got done playing basically for a national championship, left in the middle of the night to the biggest rival, and he told everyone that he wasn't going to. And he also didn't accomplish all of their wildest dreams this year in football, and now in basketball and men's and women's basketball. He had both of his coaches leave. So
when he tried to hire one of them, that coach said,
Yes.
It feels like
some people aren't necessarily the happiest in the world, they want everything. And what
I want it all, Daddy.
Yeah, and what they got was Bucky. So stay tuned for that one. Just the temperature just keeps on going up. Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
Have the Aggie fans ever considered that they are a cult in a crappy-ass Texas town?
Great take, Aaron. One of the best takes we've ever had on
In a
this
culture,
show.
college, or crazy weirdos, I think Aggie takes the cake. Oh, yeah. There are some crazy weirdos out there. Texas A&M fans might be the craziest weirdos or the weirdest crazy people, depending on however you would describe that situation.
We've encountered a few of them over the years of the College World Series.
We have. Credit to them. They have been here a lot.
They have.
Yes. There was a couple fans in particular last summer who enjoyed making their way down to the dugout.
They don't let you do that.
The opposing dugout.
That's right. They don't let you do that, especially.
Yes. They said as a person who was in that dugout or very close to it, that I did not like the things that they were saying, just as human beings. Did not like the things.
Omaha's Finest took care of it, though.
Omaha's Finest took care of it. They got him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mecca as well. But then there later, the one kid who he looked like Voldemort. He was over at the Rocco's taking J shots with people. He became a local celebrity.
You've been very complimentary of Mecca this weekend. They added some bullpen cams. You were very complimentary.
Gino and the
of
boys
that.
adding those bullpen cams is huge because then I don't have to
who's over there.
No,
I was right with you and John. I knew what you were talking about.
Because this is the biggest problem in my life currently. On the press box level at Charles Schwab Field, you, for whatever reason, are exactly even the line in between you and the pitcher in the bullpen. There is one thing in between them, the yellow line at the top of the fence on both sides of the field. You can never see their numbers. And so you have to stand up. You have to maneuver yourself into different locations. You have to make yourself taller. You have to make yourself shorter. It's a lot of work. You have to get your binoculars out. And what Gino did for us out there, Gino, Jason, everybody, they added bullpen cameras. And so they just flash up the bullpen camera when they understand that we're struggling trying to find out these people's names. So thank you.
What an assist.
Thank you. And we were talking about the Baby Bob. We talked about the Baby Bob a little bit.
It's open.
It's open. I saw people walking on the Baby Bob to the Big Bob across the river.
Too far away for you to do a hit.
Probably going to, I don't know. We haven't tested the distance on that thing for the summer. But Baby Bob to Big Bob, straight across the river, place a wager on Houston to win the national championship, and then return to Nebraska immediately.
You did this bet on foot.
Blackhead ever wonders if he was there with us all weekend. Did you ever figure out the kites? There was a bunch of kites with they were sea animals. They were sea creatures over at the Lewis and Clark Landing.
Oh.
And someone came in, one of our camera people came in between one of our breaks as we were wondering about it out loud, because that's what you do on a baseball broadcast. You wonder about it out loud. Mm-hmm. And one of the camera guys came in and he was like, I don't really know, but we found out there's a Facebook group in Southwest Iowa, or they're out of Southwest Iowa, and they like to go around and they like to fly sea animal kites.
Specifically sea animals.
We never found the Facebook group. John looked.
Never did? Okay.
John looked, and John is of Facebook. He knows.
He's of that demographic.
He knows what's going on Facebook. So we never got to the bottom of that. We did realize that there was a tattoo festival going on at the convention center at the Chai this weekend. We wondered about what was going on at the tattoo convention for 3 straight days for 12 hours each. How many tattoos could one man get?
We'll ask Nick during the crossover. I'll bet he popped in for a couple hours.
Oh, I bet Nick did go to the tattoo festival. I bet he did.
Those are my people. I love music.
Charles writes in, saving world hunger, and then balancing scale, bullpen cameras. Or is that supposed to be a handshake? It appears on our screen like the
scales of justice.
Like a scale. Yeah. Well, maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Anyway, speaking of the scales of justice, following up with this conversation from last week. By the way, we just keep getting texts about The Crown. What happened on that episode this weekend?
It must have been a premiere or something. Popped a number. I don't know.
We just keep getting texts about this. Josh
I'm going to text my wife.
Josh got a phone call about it during the break.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I don't know what to tell you.
So he mentioned, and we didn't get this person's name, but like
Sean, he did give me his name.
Okay, well, Sean. Sean was like, yes, Nebraska basketball and The Crown.
He's like,
He's
you
like,
guys
there was
really didn't watch the game
like-
yesterday, the championship game yesterday? And I said, yes, UConn and South Carolina played the championship game yesterday.
But then he was like,
I've
no.
never seen the Gamecocks look worse.
But he was like, no, Nebraska basketball. And Josh was like, I can't, like, people keep saying this. I understand the words that you're saying, but they don't make sense together. I don't get that. I do not understand it. And then people keep saying stuff about Gus Johnson. And I love Gus Johnson.
Avid supporters of Gus Johnson.
I love Gus Johnson. I love the things that he says. He is very funny.
Hilarious.
And then we're getting these pictures of Dylan Raiola and a throne.
He should be at practice.
And things of that nature. And I can't, somebody needs to call in and tell me about what is going on. O-Trips writes in, did the Queen die in the show?
The Queen did die, yes.
Well, in the show. In The Crown.
I don't think they're there yet.
Okay. All right. So this is from further back.
They just got to Princess Di dying.
Yeah, the Queen absolutely did die.
Yeah.
Probably during a Michael Brunts interview last a couple years ago.
It was during a Michael Brunts interview.
Kenneth writes in, at this point, we're going to get to the Caitlin Clark thing before the Crown thing. Well, this is not a bit. The Caitlin Clark thing, as we've told you guys before, this is a bit.
We've pulled back the curtain on that, and it's one of our most celebrated bits.
But I don't know I don't know. We keep getting texts.
But yeah, don't ruin the show for everybody. Like, if you're ahead on the Crown versus, like, I got a text out to my wife. She's working. She'll tell me where we're at on the Crown. She watches it religiously.
Yeah. All right. So here's a text that I've just gotten.
Okay.
So this is from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Nebraska won the Crown. Nebraska basketball. Here's what it says exactly. Nebraska won the Crown is what they are referring to. And then there was
someone from, it must be a competition show.
Then there was another text that says, yes, that texter is correct. That's from the basketball game, the basketball tournament known as the Crown. Now, as far as I know, the tournaments are like, there's no more extra. The NIT ended. The Purple CBI ended. And there's no other, there's one more game in college basketball, the NCAA tournament that is tonight. I don't know what the Crown is. But then people have been talking about Vegas.
That's where Nebraska bowling's
there
going
was Dylan Raiola, and he was in Vegas. And I just haven't been able to put all this together. So if somebody could call into the show and please explain to me exactly what this is.
Like we're 5.
Yes. Because I watched Nebraska basketball play their last game of the season. It was more than a month ago at this point.
Wow, really? Time flies.
They lost to Iowa. And then they didn't make the Big Ten tournament. We wrote
a
parody song, played
song
the parody song on the show. And then as far as I know, they must have declined to play in any postseason tournaments.
As is their right.
Sure.
Got some lovely portal pickups.
Jeff says we are all laughing, very funny bit. And from the 308, can someone get Michael Severe and explain to him why he should not have tweeted the GIF with the guy wearing the crown? Yeah, that guy is bad. We don't talk about that guy. Hockey Dad writes in, this bit about Nebraska basketball is not remotely funny. Just say you don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it. I don't know what it is. Here is Randy on the on the phone lines here. Hey, Randy, what's up?
Battle to be number 69. We talked about this last week.
The battle to be number 69. That's right. Yes, the other tournament. Now, what was it called again?
That's just I have, I guess, right?
Sorry, Randy, you broke up there. What did you say?
That was my opinion last week. I said we just need to, need to be number 69.
Yes. And now what happened? Did they win?
I don't know, man. It's just, you'd have to check the newspaper.
Okay. All right. Let me look into it. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate the call. So Randy doesn't know.
The newspaper.
I do want to talk about it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, if the audience if this is something the people are talking about.
Text from the 760.
Hi, 760.
California.
Okay.
F-U is what it says.
Bold.
Seems a little harsh. Bo Trips writes in, why is everyone saying this is a bit? Chattanooga won the NIT.
That's right. Last second. The poor kid missed a bunny right at the end. Would have been a winner in overtime.
Still, nobody has completely and truly explained to me what this is. So we'll take some more calls. We'll just have to continue to do that. On the other side, on 1620 The Zone.
You made me do this. This is on you, producer Josh.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Brian writes in
Hi, Brian.
at 1620 The Zone on Twitter. The crown is what Creighton handed assistant coach Brian Rosen when Coach Booth stepped out.
You dropped this, King.
Now I'm getting extremely conflicted reporting.
You're going to have to get your story straight.
Yeah.
If you're going to try and troll us, you all got to get on the same page. It's important.
So let's take some calls. Here we go. We got Sean on the hotline. Hey, Sean, what's going on?
Hey, not much. What's going on with you guys?
Not much other than I guess we're just a little bit confused.
I guess so. Yeah, Nebraska played Arizona State on Monday on the 31st.
Yeah.
They won 86-78.
Okay. Now this isn't. This isn't. What is this? In what?
This is a new tournament, the inaugural tournament at the MGM, the Crown. It was called.
Okay, the Crown. This is college basketball.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay, so they beat Arizona State, and then what? They continued on?
And then they moved on, and they played Georgetown on Wednesday.
Georgetown.
And they beat them 81-69.
Okay.
Nice.
Whoa, that's awesome. Then they played again.
So then they played Saturday in the semifinals against Boise State, and they won 79-69.
Whoa, that's a team that just missed the NCAA tournament.
And the whole big deal about it, because Gus Johnson, is that his name, the announcer guy?
Yes, Gus Johnson, the announcer.
Yeah. He always made a big deal about how much money they were making. So if you made it to the semifinals, I think he got $50,000 each team, and then the winner got $300,000. The loser, the second place team, got $100,000.
Okay.
So Gary was walking around with his hands flipping bills out like he was getting rich.
Okay, and so they went to the final.
UCF in the final. Yep, they played UCF yesterday, and beat them 77-66.
Wow! And then that's where the throne. That's where the throne and the crown pictures. That's where all this stuff came from.
Correct. There was a crown on top of a piece of wood that was the crown trophy, and the crown came off. And when they were interviewing people, I don't know, they were all trying the damn thing on, and Dilla Raiola was there, so I'm sure he was. He was sitting in the big chair with the crown on too. And
this all happened at the MGM Grand.
Yes.
Oh my God. Incredible. And so Nebraska basketball won they won the NIT in 1996, and now they won this. So this is something that I'm just finding out about. Do you think they should hang a banner for this, Sean?
Well, that was the big talk.
Okay. Are you pro or anti-banner?
Well, I think if Nebraska basketball gets a banner, I think they should hang it.
I'm with you. Sean, thank you. This is critical. This is critical information. This is fantastic stuff. Let's go back to the phone and see if we can get some more from Bad Takes Doug. Hi, Bad Takes Doug.
Hey, guys. Hey, I don't know what he was talking about, but I poured myself an RC Royal Crown Cola yesterday with a couple ice cubes and topped it off with some Crown Canadian bourbon and whiskey. So that's what I did. I don't know. I mean, and there's some basketball on, I think. But, yeah, so I did a double crown.
Yeah, I got that email. That was a good I got your email. Let me go back to the picture here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, RC Cola, glass of ice, and some Crown Royal. That's what the crispy. That's what the Crown is to you. Oh, is this one of those things where it's like an abstract, like what does the Crown mean to you?
The Crown is the friends we made along the way.
There you go. That's exactly right. So yeah, but I'm pro banner, and I just have a question because I try not to go there into the chai if I can help it. But do they hang? Didn't Creighton win the CBI or CTI with Dana
No, they got
year.
second. They lost that.
There was an issue with the half court line.
Yeah, they lost. They didn't win.
Did they? Is that banner hanging?
No, they didn't. They don't get a banner. They didn't win it.
Oh, you don't get a banner. Oh, you're not the Final Four of the CBI, and you get to hang that up there.
No, they didn't win.
No.
They didn't win the thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. My bad. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, crown. I'm crowning crown.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Bad Takes, Doug. We're getting a little bit closer. We're getting a lot closer.
We will we will.
Creighton
figure this
did
out.
not win the CBI when Antoine Young stepped on the invisible line at half court in 2010. They did not win. They got second place, and you absolutely, definitely do not hang a banner for second place in the CBI. This is the best 2 out of 3 series. They did win one of the games. That was the third and deciding game, if I remember correctly. And they got second place.
Mm-hmm.
So no, to my knowledge, Creighton has not ever won a postseason tournament.
Sad.
And from what these people are telling me, so I knew that they won the NIT in 96. So what these people are telling me is that they have won another one.
Another
thing. So let's see. Bullet Point Bob writes back in.
No, it's
Birdie Putt Bob. Is there anything that crystallizes Nebraska hoops and their fans more than the team going 0-5 when a bid of the NCAA tournament is online and then ripping off 4 wins in a row? Yes, this is what Sean just explained to us. To become one of the elite teams, not to end their season with a loss. Tonight, it will be Houston or Florida who will join the elite teams of 2025, Illinois State, Chattanooga, and Nebraska. 4 elite teams, 4 crowning jewels, all equal their excellence. Bob. Oh, the points of the crown are the 4 teams who get to end their season with the win.
Oh, that's a good bit.
And Nebraska is one of the points
One
of
of
the
the
crowd.
points.
One of the points of the crowd.
That actually would be an excellent addition.
So Josh just texted me a picture of what's going on in his chat of his Discord. People are not happy about this bit.
Josh has a Discord.
Josh has a whole Discord.
What?
He's a whole message board.
That guy is that.
Oh, dude, he's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean that as a positive. Like that guy is.
So somebody said Happer Show doing the bit of pretending that Nebraska winning the crown didn't happen.
What bit?
No, I'm not pretending that Nebraska winning the crown didn't happen. I just don't know what the crown is.
We can only cover the major sports stories. We can't be everywhere.
They seem very amused by it, but they were coming off as childish Creighton honks. I haven't even talked about Creighton. Somebody just called in about Creighton and said they didn't win the CBI, which is objectively true.
I've never honked.
Objectively true. But Sean called in.
Sean had a lot of details.
Sean was good. They called all these things. They won the Arizona State, Georgetown. And now that I think about it, I do remember something about Gus Johnson from last week.
What do you remember?
There was we were talking about Gus Johnson, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Something about corn and soybeans. So this happened again into the weekend, and Nebraska got to sit in the crowd.
They did it again.
And they won the entire thing. And people are now wondering, apparently, if they should hang a banner for this.
Well, if it's as important as everyone says it is, they should hang a banner.
I think it's pretty cool.
If it's important, if
That
it's
they won
important
this-
to you, hang a banner.
I think it's pretty cool that they won this crown.
Let everyone see. Let them see.
I think it's pretty cool that they won this.
Just like when people come into my house, I go, this is my collection of Batman Forever cups from McDonald's in 1997. It is very important to me. It may not be important to you, but it is important to me.
Airline writes in, just heard about this.
Airline?
Airline.
Oh, Airline. I'm sorry.
Breaking news.
I'm an idiot.
Omaha says, did you talk about the new 7-footer for Creighton? No, I mean, I know
this
that
isn't about Creighton.
I know that happened, but this is, yeah, exactly. This is not about this. All right, so Jeff says, definitely painting yourselves as the Jays station, trolling Husker fans, enjoying any type of win we can get. Once again, I don't speak for the entire station. I am just me.
1620 The Zone, the official home of Creighton Athletics.
Yes.
Go on.
But I don't speak for the entire station.
No, you
I
don't.
just speak for Connor Happer.
Connor Happer.
And I don't know what and people have now told us what the crown is. And if that is the case, I am extremely happy for Nebraska. That is awesome. They won a postseason tournament. That's fantastic. Bryce Williams, Juwan Gary, they get to go out as winners. They get to get the bad taste out of their mouths, and they won a bunch of money. According to the text that we are receiving.
To like go to Circa Stadium Swim and
No. You can do whatever you want with it. It's just flat cash. Oh. So $300,000 is what they're telling us. $300,000 for winning the crown. And so I don't know if they'll split that evenly. I don't know what they'll do with it. Maybe that's a question that we should ask. How did you split the money? Maybe that's stepping over the line. How will you split the money? Fred Hoiberg?
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to ask. Someone's got to ask. Little crass to ask such a thing, but
I think it'd be interesting.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I think you want to know. Susan writes in.
Hi, Susan.
Flew on the red eye from Vegas last night for an unrelated reason and was surprised at the number of Husker fans on the flight. Somebody apparently paid attention to the crowd.
Was Dylan there? He needs to get back to practice.
Yes.
He's the Dennis Rodman of this team right
Sam
now.
writes in. Okay, so we've seen this crown. The crown, like the trophy that they had that Juwan Gary was wearing.
The literal crown.
So Sam says, what if they hang the literal crown from the rafters with like a long cord or something? That would be awesome.
You'd have to put like a spotlight on it so it kind of like just sparkles in the distance.
That would be actually awesome. That is what they should do.
Could affect sightlines.
You know, I know the crown. I saw the crown like logo, like the silhouette basically of like a crown.
Mm-hmm.
They could do something with that. 2025 crown champion.
Mm-hmm. Apparently the only one that can say it.
Gus Johnson apparently was loving it.
I think he loves Vegas. We know this about him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeff says, dude, stop. You talked about the tournament last week. All right, you got us there.
I cannot be expected to remember the things
Josh,
that come out of my mouth.
It's over.
It's over?
I was waiting till somebody called that part out. It's like, yeah, we definitely talked about this last week.
Took y'all 3 hours.
You guys, you don't have to get mad. It's, I don't know. Maybe it was a bad joke.
It's cool.
But it underscores the point. It underscores the point. What is the takeaway? What is the takeaway from the fact that Nebraska won the crown?
It's fun.
It's great. They won a bunch of money. Congratulations. And you got to end the season on something that wasn't horrifically painful and terrifying.
It almost was.
It almost was, but it wasn't. What a great run. Andrew Morgan dunking them things. Back-to-back possessions off of pick and rolls.
Don't let them do that.
They were yelling. I mean, it was loud in there from what I was watching. I watched in the 4K, though. And
brag.
It was an option. It gave me an option. So
you guys got 4K money.
Well, it is an extra amount of dollars a month.
That's right.
Yeah. And I really like it for football, and I forgot to delete it. And so I was watching in that, and like they don't have the audio, like they don't have the audio balance set up right.
Really?
The crowd was really loud and Gus was really quiet. So I didn't hear I didn't really hardly hear anything that Gus was saying.
$300,000. That is probably what he was saying. Let me just tell you.
That run was awesome though. They made every shot, like Assisian making all the shots, and Morgan, finishing off with a couple dunks. Bryce had a couple in there.
I was like, oh no, here we go. They're gonna do that thing where they don't score for 6 minutes and it costs them the game.
Yes,
and luckily UCF did that as well.
Yes,
so great run, undefeated since our parody song is Nebraska basketball.
That's an interesting point.
You're welcome.
Jeff says Jeff's team don't hang a banner. It doesn't have to mean anything. Don't hang a banner was just fun to end the season on a win. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. You have your fun. We have our fun.
The whole bit underscores exactly that. Exactly.
Let's have fun. Sports are fun.
And on the other side, I thought the crown was like cool. Like they kind of made it cool. It has to be this weird, like kind of basketball sicko corner a little bit, and it's in Vegas, and so it's only half about the basketball and it's half about it being in Vegas. or maybe like less than half about it being about the basketball, and like 75% of it is about being in Vegas. But it was awesome.
I would even
any excuse to go to Vegas, have a good time, and watch your basketball team win. It's something that Creighton fans, if we're being honest, have almost no experience with. Creighton sucks in Vegas. Creighton is awful. Creighton is awful in Vegas.
We got 2 more years of it.
Creighton should never go to the. They should. Well, there'll
be a million more teams in
the
it. So
NIL
play Pepperdine or something.
The NIL is too good at this point, but like Creighton actually sucks in Vegas. Nebraska is way better at Creighton than Creighton in Vegas. Point blank. Period.
Honk honk.
That is absolutely true.
I think next year they should not even tell Gus who's playing before he literally sits at the table, puts the headphones on for the game, and like, okay, who we got tonight? I would say less prep from Gus would be better. I
agree completely.
You talked about this on Thursday or Friday, like him just wanting to be in Vegas. It makes this just genuinely watchable.
Yeah, it was great. Well, but now we have all this back and forth between Creighton and Nebraska. Like, why did it become that?
Doesn't have to be that, everybody.
Why did it become that?
What's in your trophy case?
Nothing is in either of anyone's trophy cases. There's nothing in there.
How many banners do you have?
If you only count national, which that was the whole point when Jack John was trolling last week. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He was like, basically national, to boil it down to one sentence, is like, unless you win the national championship, you're meaningless. If that is the case, then no, everyone is meaningless.
300 meaningless schools.
Exactly. All right. So congratulations. Yes. To a Nebraska basketball team. I 100% watched it. Dead serious. I was tweeting about it last night, guys. Catch up. All right. I was tweeting with the game last night. I was tweeting about how I didn't understand what Berke did.
What does he do?
I don't know. He didn't play that much. And Nebraska won. And Juwan Gary was fantastic. And Bryce Williams was fantastic. I thought that Bryce should have been the MVP. I thought that Bryce should have got the crown. I don't know how Bryce didn't get the crown.
That poor guy from UCF, his hamstring was bothering him.
Yes.
These are my takeaways from the crown. Also, Dylan, get your ass back to Lincoln.
760 says, any excuse to bleep on Nebraska basketball. It's not what we were doing.
Not what we were doing. We were having fun. Just like winning the crown is fun. It might be meaningless fun to you, but it meant the world to us.
Everybody smiling, enjoying themselves. It was great. We are back with Sam McKewon coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Sam McKewon is the newsman. Sam McKewon, Omaha World Herald. On the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
As predicted, Matt Rule on Saturday was asked about his appearance in the TikTok with Harper Murray. Rule was a little subdued, by the way. I mean, he was maybe overly subdued. He just kind of said what he was going to say. He also was like, I think we're going to be pretty good. Like, but he didn't say it like that. He's like, yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good this year.
He keeps saying,
but he the tone is so interesting to me, because when you say it like, yeah, I think we're going to be pretty. Hey, people need to watch out now. I think we're going to be pretty good this year. You're saying the same words as, yeah. I guess I think we're going to be pretty good this year. Those are the same words, Josh, but they sound different.
They
right?
do. Now that you,
but Matt Rule was just like,
that.
I think we're going to be pretty good. I think we're going to be pretty good this year. I think we're going to be pretty good this year.
Be all right.
Say, we've got a good team. We got good players. We should be good. Guys have been around a while. Not we should be good.
Okay.
We should be good.
Okay.
We should be good. But anyway, on the TikTok, he goes, I walked in the training table, and Harper was like, Coach, we need to do a TikTok. And
not in the facility.
They said, not exactly, Josh. You got it.
It's got to be in the common area.
And so he agreed, and they went out to the what is that, the East Stadium, in that little kind of hallway there where you enter. Rule said he was cool. He said, I was cool with my daughters for like a second.
That's really what it's all about.
Yes. Nebraska players were losing their minds when they saw the finished product, Rule said. His wife, Matt's wife, Julie, had heard about it within 15 minutes, despite not having any social media. The video has had 1.2 million views since going up last Monday. Rule said the players were making fun of me. They're like, you were terrible. But deep down in their hearts, they know. They know. Rule said on his future TikTok making, quote, I'm one and done, though, I think. I'm one and done. Then I've had people walk up to me and say, Coach, are you really going to do Dancing with the Stars? Many people are asking Coach Rule if he's going to do Dancing with the Stars, which I think I could do, honestly. That is from Matt Rule, who the fact that he appeared in a TikTok has sparked some conversation, I guess.
Well, you want to keep the conversation going.
Congratulations to Matt Rule. Pats on the back for everybody. Everybody needs their pats on the back these days, Josh. You got to tell everybody how good they did.
Yeah, and if anybody accomplishes anything, you got to pat them on the butt, tell them they're special.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations for generating the content on the TikTok. That's all. People are really mad about this whole not talking about Nebraska basketball thing. They're not happy with us.
Why?
Yeah.
We said good job. We said it was fun.
Yeah.
One more is expected.
Well, I guess I expected them to be mad when we thought of this bit this morning. What bit? Well, actually, I texted you last night and I was like, what if we didn't talk about it? What if we didn't talk about it? And Josh, you were like, well, I don't know what your response was right away, but I think you were like,
I was a little skeptical.
It didn't work. It was a bad bit.
I don't know.
It was a bad bit. Probably it didn't work, but people got angry. I never really shoot to anger people. You know, that's not what I want to do. But
we just do stuff and then you get angry.
Yeah, it was spawned from the idea of, like I said, I think people need to be and fans of whatever team you're a fan of, definitely need to be patted on the back for things. And like I said, what I think the Crown accomplishes for Nebraska basketball is pretty much completely contained inside of the 2024-2025 season, with the exception of the fact that, I don't know, Cale Jacobson now has $20,000 more than he had before, and that probably will last him outside of this basketball season. At least I hope, unless they go buy some, something for $20,000 just immediately right out of the gate. Because somebody did the math. It was like $17,000 a piece for every player if they just divided it evenly among the players or something like that. But like I said, and we talked about this on Friday leading into the Crown semi. And then people got mad at Gary of all people because he said Nebraska was going to lose.
Here's the biggest Nebraska fan
we also said Nebraska was going to lose.
Thought they'd lose to Boise.
Yeah. And then they were like, they did the J, that's the J skirts, or it's the J station. Like we talk about Nebraska basketball like all the time. All the time.
So much.
Yeah. We have Robin on every week. We ask him basketball questions.
He tells us he's very informed.
Mm-hmm. So people, I think, need to be, told that they did a good job.
They did do a good job.
And they did do a good job. And we told them that we told them that we thought that they did a good job.
I'll even take that G word out and replace it with another. They did great.
They did a great job.
Because I know people, when I say that word, it hits the ear differently.
Yeah. What does it mean going forward? I don't know. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think it means anything. Maybe in the day of, when Nebraska won the NIT in 1996, you're bringing players back from that team. And I know Nebraska's bringing players back from this team, but I think what it accomplished on this year's team is specifically getting a bad taste out of your mouth from a horrible, horrible end to the season.
Yeah.
And that is great. That is good for your program.
What a
month. It felt like they went out there, man. And just for it was just a week. For the last week, because remember they had 3 weeks off in between their last game and this, which was a long time.
Very long time.
It just felt like they were kind of just playing, And it also, you could also it was kind of cathartic. The run in the Crown was because you didn't have to do this. Does this mean something or does this mean nothing thing? Or at least I didn't.
Would have been nice
during that period of time. And I know that there were people asking the question afterwards of boy, you really got to wonder where this was from Nebraska basketball.
Where was this all?
Zip! No. Nope. No. Not doing that. Definitely not doing that. That is stupid. That is a dumb conversation. Because you are playing the postseason tournament that you played in under completely different circumstances than you were at any game in the regular season. You are playing it under completely different circumstances and completely different terms. So we're not doing that. I don't think that's a healthy or fun conversation to have because I don't think they're comparable. Yeah. So that's not a part of this. And what they did was completely, locked into this year, and it was a good run, and I think it should make the program feel, just better in general.
And very quickly, I would like to ask Nebraska ball fans: are we still firing Fred Hoiberg?
Great question. something that we were always not pro.
That's
We
right.
were anti, Josh.
That's
I
right.
believe that's the word for that, actually.
Vindication for us.
Yeah, not much of that conversation today, I guess. Here is Sam McKewon, who is joining us now via the hotline. Hi, Sam.
Hello. How was your Monday?
It was good. We did probably a bad bit. We didn't talk about the Crown for the first 2 hours of the show, and people got mad at us.
Oh. Well,
exactly. That was their reaction.
Now you're talking about it.
Yeah, now we're talking about it. We have opened things up. Now we are officially talking about it. What do you think? What do you take away, if anything, from the last week for Nebraska basketball?
Well, I mean, they peaked. You know, they went out and showed they could string together 4 games at the end of the season against decent competition, and get the job done. I think they showed some resiliency. I think if you're looking for takeaways going into next season, I can think of 3. One,
okay, good.
Connor Season ends the season on a whole different note than the way he would have if they had played it. If they had ended with Iowa. And I think that's important because I think he's a very important piece for them next year. And he needs to be a 13 to 14 point a game guy next year, shooting 42 to 45% from 3. And I think it probably feels pretty good to go into the offseason the way that he did. I thought he was certainly not Jawan Gary. He was not the MVP of the Crown, but I thought he should have been on the first team tournament team. I thought he played really well, and that was a key. Momentum-wise, I think you can go into the off season from a transfer portal standpoint and say, look, you know what? Yeah, we didn't get exactly what we wanted, but we went and finished this thing, and you see what we're about. You see how much fun these guys are having. Come be a part of it, and we're you away from being who we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, going back out to some of these portal targets and reiterating what it could be, what it could be, what it has the possibility to be, and then I think it's probably good for the fan base and for Hoiberg to get it to a little bit better spot so that you're probably selling a few more season tickets with that little mini run. I do think that fans were frustrated with the product, especially at home in January, February, and March. Nebraska was not good at home. They actually got some pretty darn good wins on the road in the new year. They were not good at home. That they beat Illinois, but they weren't great in that game either. Illinois missed a million shots. And so they lost a lot of games at home. I think they lost 6. And the fans brought it, and then they kind of watched Nebraska, lay an egg in Minnesota Iowa games. So I think it was important to kind of rebound. So I think they're taking some things in the off season and the portal. Can you go get a guy that maybe you wouldn't have gotten if you hadn't gone on this 4-game run? We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe. Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald is with us. Sam, let's go over to football. Rule talked over the weekend in a sort of kind of monotone way. He said, yeah, I mean, I think he reiterated it that the team, and you had this quote in your column, said we should be good. We've got a good team.
Yeah.
Got good players. Guys have been around a while. We should be good. But the way he said it was sort of interesting. I guess what do you read into that going into the season and the way he feels about the team right now, especially considering he has a different sort of he maybe has a different viewpoint than he's had over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I think we're in the the stage of Nebraska needs to be good. So should be good is dovetails neatly with the requirements. The necessity of the situation. I think everybody's feeling it a little bit down there. Not in like a high pressure way, but more in a gotta go kind of way. And nobody's going to be more self motivated than Rule. He's an urgent guy. It's just the way he's wired. And so the way I've read a couple of his press conferences, incidentally, I haven't been at the last 2. Is there's just so much going on. that he's got to tend to that isn't necessarily what's happening really in spring camp. You got major revenue sharing stuff that you got to navigate. You got a 105-man roster you got to figure out. You don't know. One of the tricky things about this is you don't know exactly who's going to leave. Like, you don't know. It could be this guy, it could be that guy. And if that guy leaves, then you want this guy, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot going on. I think they just have a lot of things they have to navigate, sift through. And again, there's moments where it's like, how good do you feel about this? And how good do you feel about that? And we're trying to, pump it up a little bit. And the reality is, however they feel, I think it's got to be good. It's not a one of these, well, I'm going to say this or say this because I'm trying to bring the thing along. I think it's, now it's go time, and you can sense that in the program. That's okay. They'll be all right. The media will be all right too. That's not always easy for the press, but he'll probably turn a corner here toward the end of the camp and be a little bit more upbeat. That'd be my sense of it.
What do you think I guess, as we'll sort of unpack it all at the end of the day, or I guess potentially it goes beyond that. But you also wrote about the revenue sharing hearing that's going on right now, or the settlement hearing that's going on right now. I guess what do the next couple of days look like in that regard? And I guess is it do we have to wait to unpack it until we figure it out, or do these teams have a pretty good idea of what's coming down over the next couple of days?
Well, they have a pretty good idea of what's coming down if it's approved. If it's not approved, then they got to go back and figure out the whole thing again. And you don't have any roster limits and all the.
Is that possible?
It's possible if it weren't approved today. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are possible, guys. I'm just telling you, like and a lot of times. They'll listen to the hearing. Judges are supposed to ask questions that are really challenging. Like it's designed to be skeptical. So the way that the journalists read that is, it's not going to get approved. Oh, there's skepticism. Yeah, no kidding, guys. Yeah, that's how that adversarial process works. It's how the Supreme Court works too. So it's possible it won't get approved. It's also, I think there's a feeling that it's likely to. There's a guy out there who's a Tulane law professor. His name's Gabe Feldman, and he has done the best podcasting work on all of this stuff. Troy Dannon knows it, and Dannon used to, because obviously Dannon was down there, and he had Kessler and the NCAA lawyer on a couple days ago, and they both felt pretty good about it, but they didn't say for sure. And again, I would encourage people to listen to this stuff. I've been listening to it for months. It gives you a sense of what the legal opinions and what the lawyers think of the whole process. And, this is a settlement that a lot of people are behind. There aren't that many objections relative to the number of people who will opt in. The media has a habit of focusing on objections because that's what we do. We look for the conflict. But the reality is there aren't that many conflicts. The question is going to come down to, I think, the clearinghouse thing and whether that's something that's going to fly, and B, if it does get approved, does a combination of lawyers, state lawmakers, and national media get together to say we just can't abide by any kind of standard that doesn't include a union? And sooner or later, within 2 or 3 years, the NIL pay-for-play deals are going away. They're going to end. It's just a matter of whether it's done through this, or it's done through Congress, or it's done through a union. Nobody wants, and I don't even think the boosters want it. Not really. I don't think the boosters want to keep having to shell out $15 million a year in extra money on top of the revenue money. At some point, that group of people gets kind of exhausted. Like, can we pull out of this, or are we going to continue to let one nouveau riche person in the SEC dictate everything that we do? Sooner or later, it'll go away. I don't know by which model it's going to happen. It could be this clearinghouse. It could be Congress. or it could be a union. I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of people, in the chatter class that say it's got to be a union. And it's possible that a union restricts the athletes more than the settlement will. But that's just kind of that's the kind of logic that I think people want to pursue. So I don't know where it's going to end up. It may well end up with them being employees, which isn't what the colleges want, but it may end up being what happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Today isn't the end. It's probably the beginning, but it's not going to be the end.
Oh, we got a great long summer and beyond coming up in that regard. All right, Sam. Thanks as always. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. The World Herald.
Not just
of
the
Omaha.
Nebraska Herald.
No, but it's the Omaha
World
Herald.
Yeah.
Which is it? Is it Omaha or World?
Pick one.
All right, so we have some continuing thoughts on what the run in the crown means for Nebraska basketball. We get to those because people are definitely going against my thing of like, I think what it means is kind of locked inside of aside from super abstract stuff, like it feels good.
It does feel good.
Yeah, of course it feels. Of course, but like tangible.
Don't mess with my feel good, Connor.
No, not trying to. So I want to get to some of your guys' thoughts on the other side.
All right,
we'll get a little bit of that as we have a few minutes before we get to the polls and get out of here. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. right, so my dear friend John, ABS, let's call him ABS John.
Hi, ABS John.
ABS John.
Feels like a code name instead of a...
No, he runs ABS at the Storm Chasers. Or he helps anyway.
Whoa.
ABS John. He said, disagree. Asian learned that he could get open threes by taking the ball to the rim and not just get crowded at the three-point line. Changes fan attitude heading into next year. Gosh, that's where...
if it doesn't happen, you're just going to say...
I don't know, like if
where's Crown version of Connor Asian?
Oh, changes fan attitude, like specifically on Asian next year?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
They hit three-pointers in Vegas. They might hit them all
So
season.
once again, I repeat, even before the Crown and before the season ended, Connor Asian was a 40% three-point shooter this year.
That's very good.
He is incredibly good. Yes. But people hated him. And admittedly, like, it didn't feel that way. But he definitely had a good final. But changes fan attitude heading into next year and hopefully get some national exposure to better recruits and transfers. Yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt. I guess it doesn't hurt to get another couple games on television. It doesn't hurt.
Oh, no. Any exposure is good exposure.
Yeah, but like, I don't know that it is like, yeah, people saw that on TV and they're like, yeah, I got to go play for Nebraska now. I don't know. I think, like I said, last week, once again, for people who think this is new, we keep it pretty real. We keep it real in this show, Josh.
100?
We keep it 100. We keep it. It's a year of transparency, as we have said that before. As we have said all throughout last week, I thought what Nebraska was doing was playing in the Crown, not putting a whole lot into it.
Just having some fun.
Enjoying the basketball. Winning, plus. Great. That's awesome. Mm. Winning games, good.
Winning games
and
is good.
Also still doing its thing in recruiting and in the portal. Like separately of that. It didn't seem like what they were, because remember the conversation last week before they won all these games was, should they really be doing this, or should they just be back at home focusing on the portal more?
Well, they were contractually obligated to do it.
And I was like, well, as long as they can handle both, I mean, great. That's what I said. I was advocating for this. And people are mad at me today. Me, Connor.
I mean, there's got to be some
you guys.
Low major kid in the portal who's looking for a bag and is like, well, I hadn't thought of Nebraska.
I don't know. Maybe,
right? I mean, there's a bajillion kids in the portal.
But Josh, like, that's not how recruiting works. That's not how recruiting works.
It's not.
No, the coaches reach out to the players and they identify the players that they want. There's not some guy who's just like, gosh, maybe I should put Nebraska on my list of 20.
Yeah, put him in that graphic.
And then he's like, I kind of like him, and then he ends up going there. Like, no, you have to develop a relationship, and there has to be like a step, and like all of those things.
They should get on the phone and be like, hey, why don't you just add a big red end to that graphic you already whipped up?
Yeah.
Add one more.
Yeah.
We'll call it my top 21. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Matthew says that's a good analysis, Hap. I think most fans are on the same page. Okay, good. Thank you. I think we're all on the same page then.
The Crown was fun.
Gosh, but we were just talking about it during the break a little bit. You guys are so fired up lately. People have been, and that's fine, but people have been very testy as it pertains to basketball and things of that nature.
You have to talk about. We didn't even talk about the national championship game tonight. The actual college basketball Crown. Because we had to tell you you're special.
Well, no, I mean, we would, to be clear, like, you could think whatever you want about the bit. I don't care. I don't care whether you hate me now or not, but understand that we were talking about Nebraska basketball regardless today, and understand that we've been talking about them throughout the entire year. And so people want to act like the 2 hours that we didn't talk about it was the end of the world. Whatever. You know, if people are mad about that, then so be it. I don't care. But people have just been so testy about this lately. And it's not just Nebraska basketball. It's Creighton basketball. It's basketball. I mean, there was the whole thing last week with Nebraska, with football and basketball and all of that stuff. And it's just, it has ignited these fires.
You got a little feel good in April. It's great. It's legitimately great.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree completely.
Not everything, as we say during football season, we say this a lot. Not everything has to be a referendum on everything.
Yeah. Chance says,
a chance.
Yeah, and that was what I was going. That was what I was going back to last segment. Like, it was really cool. I thought it was really fun to have that tournament because of exactly that. Because not everything was a referendum on everything. It just felt like it was like the most like stress-free basketball watching environment that I had ever been in. It was great. It was awesome.
If you lose, well.
Like if you took the game super seriously, then awesome. Like, but understand at the end of the day, you don't, nothing happens to your season if you lose in the semifinals of the Crown. Like that's okay. You unfortunately in this tournament your players don't get money. Or I guess if you lose in the quarterfinals of the Crown. But it was just like it was a stress-free basketball watching experience, and Nebraska got like the best possible result out of it because they won the damn thing. It was awesome. It was an enjoyable experience, made even more enjoyable by the fact that they won. And as Fred said afterwards, I thought it was, look at me, I'm quoting the press conferences because I watched it. As Fred said afterward, I guess this isn't that far off of what people always say, but it did seem like a pretty well run event. It seemed like the Crown probably established itself as the second best tournament outside of the NCAA tournament.
Other than that whole gambling, not registering the gambling thing.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That's aside from it.
Yeah.
Yep. No doubt about it. I was going to get to some comments. Chance says, we enjoy our favorite team winning. Crazy, I know. Perhaps we should just have golf clapped and move on. MK says, Connor, in case you ever miss a story again, you should check out the Locked On Nebraska podcast. Mitch is great, but he has to carry that bum Mike Schaefer most shows.
Oh, no. Poor Mike.
That's a great comment.
He was just on here with us today.
That's a great comment. You might have the right guy. You might have the wrong guy, though. All right, we'll be back. We got the polls. We'll tell you what to watch after this on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
All right, to the we should probably tell you that Creighton got a commitment from Serbian 7-footer Alexa Dimitrijevic. At least that's how it looks.
Gonna need Rob to help us.
I think we got Alexa.
Okay, Alexa.
Dimitrijevic. That'd be my guess, officially.
Connor has to be
lock it in.
Beside himself.
Alexa Dimitrijevic.
Connor, your favorite NBA team has a 7-foot Serbian.
Yep.
And now the team you honk for in college is Joel. I miss that guy. Has a 7-foot Serbian.
I have people. He seems to be pretty highly thought of, but I have no takes because I.
What's his weight? Is he skinny or is he big? Is he Kalkbrenner?
He looks like he's
Jokic?
got some. It looks like he's got some thickness.
Would you be worried about him sitting atop a horse?
Actually, on that picture, it looks pretty skinny.
Okay.
He would look really odd on top of a horse. He's 7 feet tall.
Well, yeah. Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Platcat says 220, less than Dylon.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty skinny for a 7-foot dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
Closer to young Kalk.
Young Kalk.
Is this Serbian Kalk? People are wondering. I think it's a little early for that. That'd be my official opinion on
that.
That
guy has a lot of awards.
Yes, he won many awards
over the weekend.
Many awards.
He was accidentally given the
Bob Cousy Award.
Cousy Award on ESPN this weekend.
That's right. Congratulations, Kalkbrenner, point guard of the year. Does a mini bat have any value whatsoever?
No, it doesn't. You were correct.
73% agree. They say no. Is collecting stuff dumb? Wow, I forgot about that. I really have pissed off some people today.
Yeah.
Is collecting stuff dumb?
Oh, very, very wide network casting here, but I will say yes.
Thank you. 57% say no. It's smart. Do you know Joey Cold Cuts?
I still don't.
No. 75% say no. Does Bob just like fat people? Now that's a confusing one.
From what young Matt was telling us.
I'll vote yes.
Yeah.
64% say yes. Is Gary definitely a Bazinga guy?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does he say Bazinga?
Absolutely.
Only 70% say yes.
That's a terribly low number.
Which song is better is our final poll question.
Okay.
Now, this is a little bit of a deep cut.
It is. What are you asking?
The Masters theme or the Masters CBS theme? The Masters theme is the soft dun, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear that from time to time. The Masters CBS theme, or maybe it's just the CBS golf theme.
Okay.
Like the dun 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 bum.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
one. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. That song rules. Give me that one. 65% agree. Thank you.
Good take.
Redeeming.
Finally had one.
Totally redeem yourself, guys. All right. Those were the poll questions. Josh, what are you watching?
We are watching the National Championship game. The only team that gets to be happy at the end of the season.
Who you got?
Todd Golden versus the Cougars.
Okay.
For once.
Good one, Josh.
Florida versus Houston are the teams tonight.
Yeah, who you got?
I will go Houston because you are a ball knower and you've said Houston. And
but what if I zagged on the last day of the season?
That would be really weird.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I predicted Duke to win it all, so I have no dog in the fight anymore.
I'm going in all the way. Cougar Town.
Great show.
Great show.
7:50 tip on CBS. I believe our coverage here on 1620 The Zone begins at 6 p.m. And then in the NBA, just a 2-game slate tonight as the pros get out of the way. Kings Pistons in Detroit at 6 o'clock, so it'll pretty much be over by the time the college game starts on NBA TV. Yankees Tigers about to start on MLB Network. It'll be followed by Blue Jays Red Sox, Astros Mariners, and then your MLB TV free game of the day at 8:45 tonight, Reds Giants. If you don't like college basketball, why have you listened to the last 4 hours? But if you don't, there are some other things to watch tonight. Fox, 8 o'clock, TMZ presents the Menendez brothers, the prison interview. The infamous brothers speak for the first time in decades about their last chance for freedom and reveal what they'll do with their lives if they are released.
Oh.
And finally, on Disney Plus, today on the film's 30th birthday, a documentary explores how a Goofy Movie's young creative team tackled their first Disney feature and the film's initial disappointment and eventual resurgence.
It's like an oral history on the Goofy Movie?
Not just a goof, a documentary premiering now on Disney Plus.
Holy crap. Wow. We got some content out there, Josh.
I prefer the one that Atlanta did all those years ago with Donald Glover.
They did a Goofy Movie?
One episode was a mockumentary about a Goofy movie.
Wow.
And it was hilarious.
Wow. All right, Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
That is, that's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Crossover coming up next.